A cavalry spear punches through the soldier beside me, and the corpse hits the mud before I even finish opening my eyes. I am kneeling inside a shattered trench beneath a sky burning violet, surrounded by screaming recruits who are supposed to be defending Blackwall Fortress. And somehow, everyone here thinks I am the weakest man on the battlefield. See, 8 minutes ago, I was dead, not wounded, not unconscious, dead. My last memory belongs to another life, the Imperial Field of Raal, where I command 37 armored legions against an invading coalition 3 times our size. I remember the rain. I remember my horse collapsing beneath me. I remember ordering the 7th Iron Division to close the eastern breach while enemy lancers pour through the center. Then an arrow enters my throat. The world goes black. Now I breathe again through the lungs of a 19-year-old conscript named Corvin Hale. Wonderful. I inherit his memories the same way I inherit the blood, soaking his uniform suddenly, messily, and without permission. Corvin belongs to the lowest military caste in the fortress city of Darson. No family crest, no sponsorship, no awakened combat lineage. His only achievement is surviving long enough to reach mandatory class evaluation this morning. The result is apparently considered hilarious. An F Rank Necromancer, the weakest recorded combat class in the entire Western Bastion army. I glance down at my wrist. A cracked bronze identification band still displays the result in dull gray letters. F Rank. Necromancer. Soul capacity 1. Maximum active summon count 1. Available spell, Raise Lesser Phantom. The boy whose body I inherited spent the last 3 hours being mocked for it. I spend 3 seconds reading it. Then I stop caring. Another spear whistles toward my face. I turn sideways. The blade misses my cheek by less than an inch. The attacker is not human. A crimson-armored revenant climbs over the trench wall, its rusted helmet fused to a skull burning with orange corpse fire. One of the other recruits screams. I do not. I grab the dead soldier beside me by the collar and pull his body upright. The revenant's next thrust punches through the corpse instead of my chest. I step inside its reach. My hand closes around the shaft. Then I kick the creature's knee sideways. Bone cracks. The revenant drops. I wrench the spear free. One thrust through the throat. Another through the eye socket. The corpse fire goes out. Simple. Painfully simple. I stand. Around me the trench is collapsing. Recruits flee toward Blackwall's inner gate while crimson revenants pour through a breach in the northern barricade. Someone has abandoned the outer defense line. That is the first thing I notice. The second is worse. They abandoned it deliberately. The wooden barricades have been pulled inward instead of broken outward. Supply wagons block 2 retreat lanes. And the signal tower that should be directing reserve formations is dark. This is not a defeat. It is an arranged slaughter. A horn blasts behind me. 3 short notes. Withdrawal. Dozens of recruits scramble toward the western ramp. I do not move. 3 short notes are wrong. In Corvin's memories, fortress withdrawal is 1 long blast followed by 2 short ones. Someone is feeding these soldiers false commands. My fingers tighten around the stolen spear. Old habits return quickly. Maybe death does not erase everything useful. Move! Trash! A mailed shoulder slams into mine. I barely shift. The man glaring at me is Lieutenant Brannick Veld, deputy commander of the conscript battalion and nephew of Marshal Odrin Veld, the officer who controls Blackwall's awakening registry. Corvin knows him well. Not personally. Victims rarely need introductions. Brannick is the officer who ordered every F-rank recruit into the front trench after today's class evaluation. He called it battlefield adaptation. Apparently, battlefield adaptation means placing disposable bodies between proper soldiers and incoming monsters. Brannock's silver-plated armor is spotless. That tells me everything I need to know about how much fighting he has done. Did you suddenly go deaf? He snaps. Western ramp. Now. I look past him. 30 armored soldiers are already moving toward the ramp, not retreating. Repositioning. Interesting. Their insignia belongs to the Veld household guard. Even more interesting. Brannick grabs my collar. F-rank filth doesn't get to stare at officers. Corvin's body remembers fear. His stomach tightens automatically. His pulse spikes. The reaction annoys me. I catch Brannick's wrist. Not hard, just enough to stop him. His eyes widen. Mine do not. The withdrawal signal is incorrect, I say. For half a second, he looks surprised, then angry. You think your useless class makes you a tactician? No. Being a general made me a tactician. Dying merely made me unemployed. Another horn sounds. 3 short notes again. The recruits hurry faster. Brannick jerks his wrist free. Run west or die here. He turns away. I watch his household guards move east. There it is. The real order. The conscripts are being funneled toward the western ramp. The trained soldiers are moving in the opposite direction. Why? I climb onto the trench lip. The battlefield opens beneath me. Blackwall Fortress sits against a mountain pass shaped like a broken jaw. 3 defensive walls descend toward the valley. The outer wall is already breached. The middle wall still holds. Beyond it, thousands of undead soldiers advance through purple fog. They do not move like wild monsters. They march. Shield formations. Spear ranks. Reserve columns. Someone commands them. Then I see the western ramp. A narrow stone causeway. Too narrow for hundreds of panicked recruits. And beneath it, movement. Massive movement. A line of corpse giants waits beneath the cliff shadow, hidden from anyone approaching at ground level. The western ramp is a kill box. I almost laugh. Whoever designed this ambush understands geometry. Unfortunately for them, so do I. A system alert suddenly flashes across my vision synchronization with inherited soul complete. F Rank Necromancer confirmed. First corpse detected within command range. The words vanish almost immediately. I stare at the dead recruit lying beside the trench. 1 corpse. 1 summon. That is what the class evaluation says. I lift my hand. Raise. Cold spreads across my palm. The corpse does not move. Instead, something translucent rises through it. A phantom, barely. It is the faint outline of a young soldier wearing broken spectral armor. Half his breastplate is missing. His sword ends at the hilt. His helmet flickers in and out of existence. An ordinary necromancer would probably be disappointed. I am fascinated. The phantom kneels. Not randomly, properly, left knee down. Right fist against chest. Military submission posture. My eyes narrow. A second system alert flickers through my sight. Lesser phantom successfully raised. Command capacity reached. Soul stability 12%. 12%. Pathetic. Yet the phantom waits. I point toward the broken barricade. Stand there. It moves instantly. No hesitation. No confusion. Perfect obedience. I point toward a discarded shield. Retrieve it. The phantom walks toward it, then passes straight through the metal. Right. Intangible. Mostly. It tries again. Its hand flickers. For half a second, spectral fingers solidify around the shield strap, then fail. Interesting. Not useless. Incomplete. A scream tears through the western ramp. The first recruits have reached the trap. Corpse giants rise from beneath the cliff. Stone clubs descend. Men disappear beneath them. Brannick does not even look back. His household guard continues east. I understand now. The conscripts are bait. The Veld forces are evacuating something through the eastern armory tunnel, while the undead concentrate on the false retreat. That explains the blocked roads, the dead signal tower, the deliberately weakened barricade. Someone inside Blackwall knows the outer defenses are being sacrificed. Maybe the Veld family wants to save weapons, maybe treasure, maybe themselves. I do not yet know. That is fine. A battlefield rarely tells me everything at once. I only need the next useful truth. The phantom beside me turns its helmet toward the screaming recruits. Its broken hand tightens. A tiny reaction. Not fear. Recognition. Corvin's memories provide the answer. The dead soldier's name was Edric Moss. Same conscript unit. 20 years old. Former stable hand. No military training beyond 6 weeks of drills. Yet his phantom adopts formation posture naturally. Not Edric's posture. Mine. I test it. 3 steps forward. It obeys. Pivot right. Perfect. Guard. The phantom raises its broken sword hilt and angles its empty arm as though holding a shield. Exactly the stance used by my Imperial heavy infantry. A stance that does not exist in this world. For the first time since waking up, I feel something dangerously close to excitement. The system calls this a lesser phantom. But it is not copying the corpse. It is copying my command. That changes everything. Another revenant leaps into the trench. I step aside. Intercept. The phantom moves. Too slow. The revenant's sword passes through its chest, but the phantom reaches for the weapon. Its hand turns solid for one heartbeat. The blade jerks sideways. That heartbeat is enough. I drive my spear through the revenant's skull. Corpse fire bursts across my sleeve. The enemy collapses. Black smoke twists from the body. This time I see it. A thread. Thin, dark, almost invisible. It stretches from the revenant toward my phantom. The phantom absorbs it. Its outline sharpens. The missing half of its breastplate rebuilds itself by a fraction. Soul stability rises from 12% to 13%. I smile. Now that is useful. The system did not tell me defeated souls could reinforce an existing summon. Perhaps it does not know. Or perhaps F Rank examiners simply never bothered testing long enough to find out. Either possibility works for me. Corvin! Brannock shouts from the eastern trench. He has noticed I am still alive. Unfortunate for him. He points at me. Western ramp. That is an order. Behind him, 2 household soldiers drag a black iron chest toward the armory tunnel. So that is what matters. I cannot see what is inside. But 6 trained soldiers are protecting one chest while hundreds of recruits die. Valuable enough. Brannock notices me looking. His expression changes. Not anger. Alarm. He gestures to one of his guards. The guard draws a crossbow. There we are. Not discipline. Silencing. The bolt flies. I pull the phantom in front of me. The projectile passes through its shoulder. I tilt my head. The bolt grazes my ear and strikes the trench wall. Brannock curses. I memorize that. The phantom turns toward him. Its spectral helmet flickers. For an instant, I feel something through the connection. Not thought. Not language. Direction. Threat. The thing recognizes hostile intent toward me. That is new. A massive impact shakes the battlefield. The northern barricade explodes inward. Dozens of crimson revenants pour through. Behind them walks something larger. A knight nearly 10 feet tall. Black plate armor. Antlered helmet. A banner made from stitched human skin hangs from its back. Every revenant around it adjusts formation automatically. Commander unit. Good. Brannock looks at the creature. Then at the eastern tunnel. He makes his decision instantly. Seal the conscript trench. I hear the grinding of gears. Iron gates begin lowering behind us. He is locking every surviving recruit outside the middle wall. Hundreds of men start screaming. Some pound on the gate. Others beg. Brannock watches from the safe side. You were born worthless, he shouts over the noise. At least die usefully. Corvin's memories burn. That sentence is familiar. Brannock said almost the same thing this morning when the class result appeared. F rank. Worthless. Disposable. Useful only as bait. I look at the lowering gate, then at the approaching commander unit, then at the single damaged phantom standing beside me. 1 summon. 13% stability. No proper weapon. No armor worth mentioning. Against several thousand undead. The numbers are ridiculous. I like ridiculous numbers. They reveal structure. 10 enemies become a squad. 100 become a company. 1,000 become a regiment. 10,000 I stop. Something buried beneath Corvin's inherited class interface reacts to the thought. The gray F rank symbol flickers. For less than a second, another image appears behind it. A battlefield grid. 10 columns. 100 markers per column. Layered again and again. Then it vanishes. I freeze. Not because I am afraid. Because I recognize what I just saw. That was not a summon interface. That was an order of battle matrix. My phantom turns toward me. The broken soldier kneels again, waiting. No. Not waiting. Reporting for duty. The iron gate continues descending. Brannock smiles from behind it. The antlered undead commander raises its sword. Thousands of revenants answer by striking their shields in perfect rhythm. Once. Twice. 3 times. The battlefield trembles. Everyone around me hears an army. I hear organization. Front line too dense. Left flank advancing faster than center. Command relay concentrated through banner carriers. Reserve spacing absurdly narrow. A formation designed by someone who understands obedience but not maneuver warfare. Amateur. I plant the stolen spear into the mud. Then I crouch beside the nearest dead recruit. Not Edric. Another one. Then another. 30 corpses lie within 20 paces. Hundreds lie beyond them. Thousands cover the outer field. My system insists I can command one phantom. Fine. I am not asking it to command them. I place my palm against the mud. Cold soul light crawls between my fingers. The phantom beside me raises its head. I give my first real order in this new life. Soldier. It stands. I point toward the dead. Form the first division. The moment I give the order, nothing happens. Good. That means I have not misunderstood the problem. I have merely misunderstood the mechanism. The single phantom remains standing in front of me while the battlefield tears itself apart beyond the trench. 30 corpses remain corpses. No glowing army, no miraculous awakening, no convenient system announcement explaining what I did wrong. Honestly, that would have been suspiciously generous. The antlered commander lowers its sword. Thousands of revenants begin advancing. Behind me, the iron gate crashes shut. The surviving conscripts panic. Some run west. Some scream at the sealed gate. Some simply freeze. I ignore all of them. My phantom is the only variable worth studying. First division. I repeat. The spectral soldier tilts its helmet. Then something changes. Not around the corpses. Inside my head, a pressure forms behind my eyes. 1 point. Then 2. Then 12. 30. I see positions, not faces. Not names. Positions. Every corpse inside roughly 40 paces appears inside my awareness as a faint military marker. Infantry. Infantry. Unarmed. Infantry. Damaged. Suitable. Unsuitable. The classifications come naturally. Too naturally. They are not system labels. They are mine. The class is not organizing the dead. I am. That realization hits just as the first enemy wave reaches the trench. Everyone down. The recruits nearest me obey, because terror is excellent at producing temporary discipline. The anthered commander sends shield troops first. Predictable. I grab a dropped spear and throw it. Not at the commander. At a corpse lying across the trench edge. The spear pins the dead man's coat to the ground. His body shifts sideways, just enough. A crimson revenant steps on him. Its ankle rolls. The formation behind it compresses. 2 soldiers collide. 3 more lose spacing. Tiny mistake. Massive consequence. Now. My phantom lunges. Its broken sword does almost nothing. But its shoulder hits the first revenant, while briefly solid. The enemy stumbles. I drive my spear through the gap in its helmet. Corpse fire ruptures. Black soul residue spills outward. The phantom absorbs it. Soul stability jumps again. 13% becomes 16. Its spectral sword grows 3 inches. Interesting. Another revenant attacks. Then another. I kill both. The phantom absorbs both remnants. 19%. 23. Its armor becomes clearer. So that is the first rule. A phantom is not rebuilt from physical material. It is reconstructed from defeated soul residue. The original corpse provides an anchor. Enemy souls provide mass. I file that away. A corpse giant climbs toward the trench. Time to leave. I look at the ground beneath the eastern wall. Corvin's memory gives me something useful. Blackwall was built over an older fortress. The current soldiers call the lower tunnels rat graves. Collapsed ammunition vaults. Old drainage channels. Forgotten burial chambers. Places officers never visit. Perfect. I point toward a narrow maintenance grate half hidden beneath broken timber. Open it. The phantom moves. At 23% stability, its hands become solid long enough to grip iron. It pulls. The grate does not move. I step beside it. Together. Metal shrieks. The grate tears loose. The opening is barely wide enough for a man. I crawl inside. The phantom follows by simply walking through the stone. Unfair, useful, the tunnel slopes downward. Behind me, another explosion shakes the trench. Dust falls from the ceiling. Then the noise grows distant. No footsteps follow. No frightened recruits. No guards. No witnesses. Exactly what I need. I descend until the battlefield becomes a muffled vibration overhead. Darkness closes around me. Corvin's body is exhausted. My shoulder aches. There is blood drying along my ear. My hands shake slightly from accumulated strain. I sit against the tunnel wall. The phantom stands in front of me. 23% stable. 1 active summon. 1 corpse anchor. one command slot. At least, that is what the system claims. I decide to test every word. Dismiss. The phantom collapses into black mist. A system alert flashes across my vision. Active summon count returns to 0. Anchored soul retained for 6 minutes before dispersal. 6 minutes. Specific. Good. I wait. 30 seconds. Then I say raise. The phantom reforms. 22% stability. So dismissed phantoms decay. Approximately 1% per partial minute under these conditions. I dismiss it again. This time I wait longer. When I recall it, stability drops to 21. The pattern is not perfectly linear. Close enough. Next test. I place my hand on the stone. Raise lesser phantom. Nothing. No corpse. No anchor. The spell requires a dead body. Obvious. But assumptions kill armies. I move deeper through the tunnel. Old bones appear beneath collapsed masonry. Human. At least 50 years old. Maybe older. I touch one skeleton. Raise. A phantom rises. Weak. Almost transparent. Different armor. Round helmet. Long coat. No sword. A system alert confirms a second successful lesser phantom summon. Active command capacity reached. I stop. Second successful summon. Yet the first phantom is currently dismissed. That means the limit is not lifetime summons. It is active concurrent control. Important distinction. I order the new phantom to walk 10 paces. It obeys. Turn. It obeys. Run. It manages 3 steps before flickering. Stability 7%. Much weaker corpse anchor, so corpse condition matters. Maybe age. Maybe remaining soul imprint. Maybe death quality. Unknown. I dismiss the second phantom. Then I recall the first. 20% stability. Good. Now I try something stupid. Raise. I touch a second corpse while keeping the first phantom active. Cold runs through my palm. The second body twitches, then stops. A system alert flashes. Command capacity exceeded. Additional independent summon denied. Independent. There is the word. Not additional summon denied. Additional independent summon denied. I stare at the phantom, then at the corpse. My pulse slows. Independent command is limited to 1. The title of this class may be pathetic. The wording is not. I point to the corpse. Soldier. The phantom turns. Raise him. Nothing. Of course. The phantom cannot cast my spell. I try again. Form a squad. The spectral soldier approaches the corpse. It kneels. Its palm passes over the dead man's chest. For several seconds, nothing happens. Then a thin thread of black light stretches from my phantom to the corpse. My mana drops. Not much, but enough for me to feel it. The dead body exhales. A second phantom rises. I remain completely still. The system does not report a second active summon. Instead, a different alert flashes. Subordinate phantom attached to command unit. Direct command unavailable. Formation bandwidth 1 of 9 occupied. I read that sentence twice. Then I smile. There it is. The class is not weak. Its exam is primitive. Independent summons consume command capacity. Subordinates consume formation bandwidth. I cannot directly control the second phantom, so I test the distinction. Second phantom, move. Nothing. The subordinate does not react. Soldier. My original phantom turns toward me. Move your subordinate 5 steps forward. The original raises one hand. The subordinate moves. Perfectly. 5 steps. No more. No less. A chain of command. My class does not scale by increasing personal summon slots. It scales by delegation. Talk about an absurd loophole. I immediately start measuring it. The first phantom is the command unit. It can hold 9 subordinate links. I raise corpse after corpse through it. 2, 3, 4. By the 5th, my mana bar drops below half. That gives me another constraint. The system may allow 9 subordinates per command unit, but my current mana cannot support infinite creation. Each lesser subordinate costs roughly 1/10 of my total mana pool to establish. Maintenance is much cheaper. Creation is expensive. I continue anyway. 6, 7. My vision blurs. 8. Pain spikes behind my eyes. I stop. 8 subordinates. 1 commander. 9 phantoms total. All from a class officially rated for one summon. Ridiculous. I sit on the cold floor and wait for my mana to recover. Slowly. Painfully slowly. No potion, no equipment, no support caster. Fine. An army is built through logistics, not enthusiasm. I watch the phantoms. The 8 subordinates stand in 2 disorganized rows. I point at them. Line formation. Nothing. I correct myself. Commander. Line formation. My first phantom raises its arm. The others align. Sloppy. Too much spacing. 2 are half a step late. 1 turns too slowly. I feel irritation. Then I remember something obvious. They are not trained soldiers. They are dead men animated through a borrowed hierarchy. The commander is copying my doctrine imperfectly because it possesses only a fraction of my tactical imprint. Soul stability, 20%. That number is not merely durability. It determines how much command complexity the phantom can carry. I test it. Commander. Advance 3 steps. All 8 obey. Wheel left. The formation nearly collapses. 2 ranks. Front kneel. Rear brace. 3 execute correctly. 5 fail. So complex orders degrade through the hierarchy. Another limitation. Good. Real limitations are better than mysterious perfection. I dismiss every subordinate through the commander. They collapse. Unlike the commander, they do not leave stable anchors. The corpses remain. I immediately attempt to restore them. Reform squad. The commander raises its hand. 6 return. 2 do not. A system notice tells me subordinate restoration depends on remaining corpse resonance and parent command stability. More data. So subordinate phantoms are cheaper than independent summons, but fragile. If destroyed too often, the corpse anchor degrades. If the commander is weak, the entire formation suffers. I need stronger command units. That explains the deeper architecture. 1 independent summon becomes a squad leader. That leader controls 9. If 1 subordinate can eventually become another command node, I stop. Can it? I point toward the strongest subordinate. Promote. Nothing. Delegate command. Nothing. Commander. Assign him 3 soldiers. The lead phantom turns. Black light runs from its chest into the subordinate. For a heartbeat, I feel resistance. Then the subordinate stiffens. A system alert flashes secondary command node denied. Minimum parent soul stability not met. Minimum not met. Not impossible. Minimum. I laugh quietly. The sound feels strange inside the buried tunnel. So this is the structure. 1 personal slot. 1 primary commander. 9 direct subordinates initially. If the primary commander reaches whatever stability threshold the system demands, it can create secondary officers. Those officers can command their own formations. Branches. Regiments. Divisions. Theoretical scale depends less on my personal summon cap and more on the depth of the command tree. Now the title F Rank becomes almost funny. The examiners tested the trunk and never looked for branches. I spend the next stretch of time doing exactly what any competent commander would do after discovering a new military system. I abuse it scientifically. First, mana cost. Raising an independent phantom consumes almost 4 times the energy required to attach a subordinate through an existing command unit. Second, range. I order 1 subordinate deeper into the tunnel. At 30 paces, the link is clean. At 60, faint. At roughly 100, the phantom stops. Not because it cannot move, because the commander loses reliable control. When I walk closer, it moves again. Command radius matters. Third, damage transfer. I order 1 subordinate to strike another. The blade passes through partially. No effect on me, no pain, good. I do not share physical damage. But when a subordinate destabilizes, the commander flickers. So losses create command strain upward. An entire shattered formation could weaken its officer. That matters later. Fourth, soul reinforcement. I find rats in the lower drainage channel. Living souls are worthless. The class needs defeated hostile soul residue, not merely death. I kill one anyway. Nothing useful happens, so no farming livestock. Annoying, reasonable. Fifth, armor. This produces the first result I did not expect. I place an ancient rusted helmet beside the commander. Equip. Its hand passes through. No surprise. Then I concentrate on the image. Not the physical helmet. Its function, protection, authority, rank. The Phantom's spectral armor changes. A faint ridge forms along its helmet. Not copied from the object, interpreted from my intent. I stare. The undead are not wearing real armor. Their forms are shaped partly by soul residue and partly by command concept. That means training may literally alter them. I test weapon doctrine. Spear unit. One subordinate's broken spectral blade lengthens slightly. Not enough. Soul stability too low. But it happens. Shield unit. Another develops a faint translucent buckler. I lean back against the stone. Now this is dangerous. The class does not merely raise soldiers, it raises military roles. If I can create stable officers and reinforce their phantoms with enough soul residue, then formations can specialize. Heavy infantry, cavalry, archers, siege units, scouts, maybe more. The system classifies everything under Necromancer because the raw material is dead souls. But the real mechanism is command architecture. That is why my reincarnation matters. A normal 19-year-old F Rank Awakener sees one summon slot. I see an organizational chart. Still, I do not know the ceiling. That bothers me. I have no proof secondary officers can create tertiary command nodes. No proof formation bandwidth stays at 9. No proof armor concepts can evolve beyond crude shapes. No proof the system will tolerate thousands of nested soul links without collapsing. And I especially have no proof I can survive the feedback if a high-level command node is destroyed. Good. Uncertainty keeps plans alive. Confidence kills them. I stand. My mana has recovered enough for another test. The commander waits. 20% stability. Too low. I need soul residue. The battlefield above has plenty, but returning there now would be wasteful. There is something else beneath Blackwall. I noticed it when we entered. The tunnel is not empty. Old scratch marks run along the lower stones, recent ones. 3 parallel claws. Large. Corvin's memories call this place abandoned. Corvin's memories are wrong. I follow the marks deeper. The phantoms trail behind me in a rough column. No witnesses. No officers. No one to report what an F Rank Necromancer is actually doing. Perfect. The tunnel widens into an ancient underground cistern. Black water fills the center. Broken statues line the walls. At the far end lies a mound of old battlefield bones. Hundreds of them. Maybe more. Then something moves beneath the pile. A skull rolls down. Another follows. A massive, armored creature rises from the bones. 4 legs. Rib cage like a siege frame. A horned skull large enough to swallow a man. Dark green corpse fire ignites inside its sockets. Not human. Not even close. A system alert flashes across my vision. Hostile, soul-bearing, undead detected. Estimated threat exceeds current class rank by 5 grades. 5 grades above me. I study its stance. Heavy front body. Weak rear joint. Poor turning radius. Thick skull. No ranged attack visible. My commander shifts beside me. 8 subordinates wait behind it. I do not know whether they are enough. I do not know how much soul residue this creature contains. I do not know what happens if my only independent command unit is destroyed. Exactly the kind of test I need. I point toward the monster. Commander. The phantom raises its spectral weapon. I issue the first formation order worth remembering. Do not kill it quickly. The bone beast charges. I do not move. That alone seems to confuse it. Most prey runs. Most soldiers brace. I simply watch. Its first step cracks stone. Second step shifts its weight forward. Third step exposes the rear joint exactly as I expected. Split. My commander raises one arm. The 8 subordinate phantoms divide into 2 groups. Not cleanly. 3 go left, 5 go right. I wanted 4 and 4. Still too unstable. I note the error. The bone beast lowers its skull and barrels toward the larger group. Good. It chooses density over threat. Primitive targeting. The 5 phantoms scatter too late. 2 are smashed apart instantly. Their bodies dissolve into gray mist. My commander flickers. A cold spike drills behind my eyes. There is the feedback. Not physical pain. Command shock. Manageable. For now. The beast pivots. Slowly. Painfully slowly. Exactly what I need. Left group. Rear joint. The command passes through my officer. 3 phantoms rush the beast's hind leg. Their spectral weapons barely scratch it. But that is not the point. They force it to turn again. The creature roars. Green corpse fire spills from its mouth. Interesting. So it does have a ranged option. The flame spreads across the floor. One phantom is caught inside. Its outline burns away. My commander staggers. I feel the link tighten. 3 losses. 5 remain. The beast turns toward me. Now I know the range. The flame travels roughly 20 paces. Wide cone, slow ignition. Limited duration. I step backward. Advance. My commander moves toward the beast. Alone. The remaining subordinates hesitate for half a heartbeat before following. That delay annoys me more than the monster. Formation discipline is worse under casualties. Another useful weakness. The beast swings its skull sideways. The commander ducks. Barely. One horn clips its shoulder. Spectral armor explodes. Stability drops from 20% to 17%. I say nothing. The commander continues. Good. I order 2 subordinates forward. They rush the beast's face. It bites one in half. The other passes partially through its jaw and collapses. Now 3 subordinates remain. The commander flickers violently. 15%. I feel pressure building inside the link. This is enough. I have tested the failure state. Time to win. Withdraw 3 steps. The commander obeys. The beast lunges. Exactly as before. It commits weight to the front. Rear joint opens. Right. The remaining 3 phantoms move toward its rear. The beast begins turning. I move left. Its skull follows me instead. So its aggression prioritizes the living caster when line of sight is clear. Useful. I walk farther left. The beast rotates. Its rear leg crosses awkwardly. There. A structural weakness. I point. Strike the joint. 3 spectral weapons hit the same spot. Nothing breaks. Of course not. They are too weak. But the creature shifts weight. For 1 second, the rear leg locks. That is enough. I grab a broken stone support beam leaning against the wall. Heavy. Corvin's body protests immediately. I drag it anyway. The beast charges again. 10 paces. 8. 6. Scatter. The phantoms separate. I shove the stone beam. It falls across the beast's path. The creature steps over it. Almost. Its weakened rear leg catches. The lock joint folds. The beast crashes sideways. The entire cistern shakes. I am already moving. I climb onto its ribcage. The creature thrashes. Bone spikes tear my sleeve. One cuts deep into my forearm. I ignore it. Green flame gathers inside the skull. Commander. The phantom appears beside the beast's head. I point toward the eye socket. Hold it open. The commander reaches inside. Its hands become solid. For 1 heartbeat. Then 2. Its stability drops rapidly. 14. 13. 12. The beast screams. I drive my stolen spear directly into the green flame. The weapon melts. I expected that. I keep pushing. The beast jerks. My palm burns through the shaft. The green fire pulses, then collapses inward. A shockwave throws me from the creature. I hit the stone hard. My breath disappears. For several seconds, nothing moves. Then black soul residue erupts from the beast like smoke from a furnace. Not a thread this time. A flood. Every phantom reacts. The commander absorbs first. Its broken armor rebuilds. Shoulder plate, breastplate, helmet, spectral greaves. Stability climbs brutally fast. 12%. 20. 31. 44. The remaining subordinates absorb the excess. Their weapons sharpen. Their outlines harden. One even develops a full shield. I push myself upright. Blood runs down my hand. The system reacts at last. Hostile soul converted. Primary command unit stability threshold surpassed. Command hierarchy upgrade available. There it is. I walk toward the commander. It looks different now. Still Edric's phantom. Still silent. But no longer pathetic. Its armor resembles heavy infantry plate. Not any armor from this world. Mine. The old imperial pattern. Layered shoulder guards. Reinforced chest. Long spectral skirt plates. A narrow visor. The shape is rough, but unmistakable. Memory translated into soul structure. I circle it once. Status. A system summary flickers through my vision. Primary Phantom Commander. Soul stability 48%. Formation bandwidth 9. Subordinate command node creation unlocked. Armor doctrine imprint incomplete. 48%. So the threshold is somewhere below that. I need the exact number later. For now, I test the important part. I point toward the strongest subordinate, Commander. Promote him. The lead phantom turns. This time, the black light does not fail. It pours into the subordinate. The smaller phantom stiffens. Its armor thickens. A faint crest appears on its helmet. The system confirms secondary command node created. Subordinate bandwidth 3. Only 3, not 9. Interesting. Rank degradation. The primary controls 9. Secondary controls 3. Maybe stability determines bandwidth. Maybe hierarchy level imposes a penalty. I do not know yet. I look at 3 corpses beside the bone pile. Give him a unit. The primary commander raises its hand. The secondary officer raises its own. 3 new phantoms rise. My mana drops. Far less than before. Not 0, but less. So nested creation still draws from me. The hierarchy reduces direct control strain, not creation energy. Another constraint. Now the formation contains 1 primary commander, 1 secondary officer, 3 soldiers beneath that officer, 2 surviving original subordinates under the primary. 7 active phantoms total. Yet my system still reports 1 independent summon. I almost admire the stupidity of the classification. Almost. Then something else happens. The newly promoted officer turns toward the 3 soldiers. Without my command, it adjusts their spacing. Half step inward. Front line aligned. Weapons angled. I stare. Autonomous doctrine inheritance. Weak, but real. The officer is not thinking. Not truly. It is executing fragments of my tactical pattern through the command imprint. That changes the scaling problem again. I do not need to micromanage every soldier if higher command nodes can carry doctrine. I need to train the hierarchy, not the individual dead. That is how real armies work. Good. I spend the next several hours turning the cistern into a laboratory. No witnesses. No interruptions. Exactly as required. I kill everything hostile I can find in the lower tunnels. Bone crawlers. Corpse rats large enough to bite through leather. 2 skeletal wardens fused to rusted halberds. A cluster of floating skulls that attack anything warm. None are individually impressive. Collectively, they are useful. Every defeated soul reinforces the phantom hierarchy. The primary commander reaches 53% stability. The secondary officer reaches 26. The lowest soldiers remain between 9 and 16. I learned something important. Soul residue does not distribute evenly. It follows rank. The highest active command node absorbs first, unless I deliberately redirect it. That means careless growth produces 1 powerful commander and weak troops. Sometimes desirable. Usually not. I begin allocating manually. Commander, reserve half. It works. Not precisely. But enough. The officer retains less soul residue. More flows downward. So resource distribution can be controlled through orders. A military economy. Excellent. I test formations. Column. Works. 2 rank shield line. Mostly works. Wedge. Disastrous. The left side advances too quickly. I reset. Again. 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 By the 12th attempt, the formation holds. No cheers. No speeches. Just repetition. That is training. I test response delay. Direct command to primary nearly instant. Primary to secondary slight delay. Secondary to troops noticeable. 3 layers would likely be worse. That creates a practical battlefield problem. Deep hierarchies increase scale but reduce responsiveness. So 10,000 phantoms cannot operate like 10,000 extensions of my fingers. They need doctrine, predefined orders, contingencies, signal structures, command zones. Otherwise, the hierarchy will collapse under complex combat. Good. I know how to build those. I died doing exactly that. The irony is almost insulting. By the time I finish the 4th round of tests, my mana recovers enough to experiment with armor doctrine again. I place a rusted shield in front of the commander. Not because the phantom needs the object, because I need a reference. Heavy infantry. Its armor thickens slightly. Mana drops. Interesting. Doctrine shaping costs mana. Hold. No change. Absorb impact. The breastplate becomes denser. The effect is minor, but measurable. I have found another subsystem. Phantom equipment is not loot. It is shaped function. The better I define the role, the more efficiently the spectral body adapts. Vague concept wastes energy. Specific doctrine produces form. I tested on the secondary officer. Line captain, close formation, short spear. Shield. Its spectral weapon shortens. A round shield forms. Armor thickens around the left shoulder. Much better. Because the role is precise. I start thinking larger. Not now. Later. Heavy infantry divisions. Phantom lancers. Siege formations. Armored shock troops. Maybe spectral cavalry if I find suitable beast anchors. Maybe aerial scouts if non-human corpses work. The possibilities are massive. The proof is not. That distinction matters. I still have 7 phantoms. 7, not 10,000, not even 100. And my body is exhausted. My mana pool is embarrassingly small. Every larger command structure will cost energy to create. Every loss will send feedback upward. Every officer needs enough soul stability to maintain subordinates. If the primary commander dies, I suspect the entire hierarchy beneath it may destabilize. I am not testing that yet. Some experiments are stupid. I sit beside the dead bone beast. My injured forearm throbs. Corvin's body needs food, water, rest. A general can ignore fatigue. A body cannot. I drink from a clean seep running through the stone. Then I tear cloth from my undershirt and bind my arm. The phantoms stand around me, silent. 7 figures in the dark. Not friends. Not companions in the sentimental sense. Soldiers, tools. And yet the primary commander keeps facing the tunnel entrance whenever I sit down. I did not order that. I notice. I say nothing. Maybe the command imprint includes guard behavior. Maybe something of Edric remains. Unknown. I dislike unknowns. I also know better than to destroy useful ones before understanding them. After a short rest, I begin the final test. Distance combined with hierarchy. I leave the primary commander in the cistern. I take no phantoms with me. Then I walk. 20 paces. 50. 100. The link weakens. At roughly 120, direct sensory awareness of the commander becomes vague, yet the secondary unit remains stable. Interesting. I continue. 150. Still stable. 200. Still. At around 230 paces, I feel a sudden tug. Not collapse. Strain. I stop. The primary commander is beyond comfortable direct range, but the formation does not vanish. So command range affects orders, not existence. Maintenance works farther. That matters enormously. I return. Then I try issuing a simple standing order before leaving. Hold this chamber. Destroy anything hostile that enters. Do not pursue beyond the arch. I walk away again. At 100 paces, the link weakens. At 200, barely there. Then something enters the cistern. I feel it only as pressure. A few seconds later, command shock. Minor. One subordinate takes damage. Then another pulse. Soul residue enters the hierarchy. They killed it. Without me. I stop walking. For the first time, the true scale of the class becomes visible. Independent action, not intelligence. Doctrine. That is enough. A commander does not need to swing every sword. He needs forces capable of executing intent when he is not physically present. This class can do that. If I can stabilize officers, if I can build doctrine, if I can acquire enough soul residue, if I can solve mana creation costs. 4 separate bottlenecks. None impossible. None solved. Good. I return to the cistern. A dead bone crawler lies on the floor. The phantoms stand exactly where ordered. The primary commander looks toward me. I nod once. It lowers its weapon. A system notice flickers autonomous doctrine execution successful. Command imprint efficiency increased slightly. So repetition improves them. Training carries over. Excellent. Now I need one more thing. Numbers. The battlefield above is still full of them. I climb toward the surface through an old stairwell. The noise becomes louder with every step. Metal. Screams. Horn blasts. Something huge striking stone. Blackwall is still fighting. Or dying. Either works. I stop beneath a cracked ceiling where daylight leaks through. Through the gap, I can see the outer battlefield. Thousands of corpses. Human, revenant, beast. Enough anchors to build an army. Enough hostile souls still moving to reinforce it, and not a single officer knows I survived. Perfect. Then I see something that changes the calculation. Brannock's household troops are no longer evacuating one black chest. They are evacuating 12. Each is marked with a silver circle around a black flame. Corvin's memory recognizes the symbol. Soul Steel Reserve. Rare military metal used to store and conduct spiritual energy. The Veld family is not saving supplies. They are stealing the fortress's strategic reserve during the collapse. My eyes narrow. Soul conductive metal. Phantom armor is shaped from soul energy. That connection may be useless, or it may solve one of my bottlenecks. I do not guess. I test. But not here. Not yet. A squad of Veld guards approaches the hidden stairwell above me. I hear Brannock's voice. Search every lower passage. Hale saw the chests, so he remembered. Good. I was starting to think he might disappoint me. My 7 phantoms stand behind me in darkness. The primary commander waits at the front. I raise one hand. No attack. Not yet. I need Brannock alive. More importantly, I need him convinced that Corvin Hale is still exactly what he thinks he is. An F-rank failure. Weak. Cornered. Disposable. So I dismiss 6 phantoms. They dissolve silently. Only the primary remains. Then I dismiss him too. Darkness swallows the last spectral light. My system returns to 0 active summons. I lean against the wall. I let my breathing become ragged. I smear some dried blood across my face. Then I wait for the guards to find me. Because if Brannock wants an F-rank corpse wandering helplessly beneath Blackwall, I can give him one. The first guard finds me exactly where I want him to. Half collapsed against the wall. Blood on my sleeve. Breathing unevenly. No phantom in sight. His sword comes out anyway. Found him. Footsteps hammer down the stairwell. 5 more Veld soldiers descend. Then Brannock appears behind them. His armor is still clean. Of course it is. He looks at me, then at the empty tunnel. His shoulders loosen. That reaction tells me more than his face does. He expected danger. He simply expected less of it from me. Corvin Hale. He says my name like something unpleasant stuck between his teeth. I lower my head. Not submissively. Precisely enough to look submissive. Brannock steps closer. You should have gone west, I noticed. His eyes harden. One of the guards laughs. Brannock does not. Good. He understood the implication. What did you see? I let my gaze drift toward the stairway. 12 chests. Every soldier around him goes silent. There it is. Confirmation. Brannock crouches in front of me. Those are emergency assets being relocated under military authority. Through an abandoned tunnel. Correct. While the fortress burns, his jaw tightens. I almost smile. Almost. Then he grabs my injured arm. Pain tears through it. Corvin's body reacts before I can stop it. My breath catches. That makes Brannock grin. Still trying to sound clever? No. I look directly at him, trying to understand how many witnesses you need dead. The grin disappears. One guard shifts his stance. Another glances at Brannock. Interesting. Not all of them were told the full plan. Useful. Brannock stands. Kill him. Simple. No speech. No hesitation. Better than most cowards. The nearest soldier draws his sword. I remain on the ground. He steps forward. 3 paces. 2. 1. Then the entire stairwell shakes. A horn screams above us. Not the false retreat signal, a real alarm. Long. 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 Corvin's memories identify it immediately. Middle wall breach. Brannock turns toward the stairs. The guard beside me does too. That is the mistake. I grab his ankle. Pull. He falls backward. His helmet strikes stone. I take his dagger. One motion. Through the gap beneath his jaw. Blood spills over my hand. The others react instantly. Better trained than the conscripts. Still slow. Raise. The dead guard's phantom tears out of his body before his corpse finishes hitting the floor. The system flashes the obvious independent summon capacity reached. I ignore it. The phantom appears in Veld armor. Weak. Soul stability 14%. Different anchor. Different soldier. Different capability. I point. Block the stairs. It moves. 3 guards attack it at once. Their blades pass through. For one heartbeat, they hesitate. That is enough. I throw the stolen dagger. It enters one man's throat. 2 down. Brannick shouts. Back. Finally, a sensible order. Too late. I touch the second corpse. Attach. The primary phantom places one spectral hand on the dead guard. Black light passes between them. A subordinate rises. Formation bandwidth 1 of 9. Brannick sees it. His face changes. Not fear. Not yet. Confusion. That's impossible. I stand. Apparently. The surviving guards retreat up the stairs. I let them. Brannick does not notice the distinction. He thinks I failed to stop them. Good. I dismiss both phantoms before they leave command range. No need to expose the structure yet. Then I follow. Slowly. Painfully. Exactly as an injured F rank should. The stairwell opens beneath Blackwall's eastern armory quarter. The fortress above is chaos. Smoke covers the courtyard. A section of the middle wall has collapsed. Crimson revenants pour through the gap. Human soldiers hold a desperate shield line around the armory plaza. And behind them, the 12 soul-steel chests are still being loaded onto reinforced wagons. So even now, Brannick continues the theft. Impressive commitment. Stupid priorities. Marshal Odrin Veld stands beside the convoy. Older. Broad-shouldered. Silver armor. Black cape. The man who controls Blackwall's registry. The man whose officers sent F-rank recruits into a kill box. He sees Brannick emerge from the lower stair. Then he sees me. His expression turns cold. Why is that one alive? Brannick looks back. I give him the exhausted stare of a man with no idea what is happening. He hates me for it. Small complication. Odrin's eyes narrow. Before he can answer, something enormous crashes through the middle gate. The antlered undead commander, still alive, still leading. Its banner burns, its armor is cracked, but the formation behind it remains intact. Hundreds of revenants flood into the courtyard. The human shield line buckles. Odrin reacts immediately. Third company, protect the convoy, not the wall. The convoy, interesting. His priorities are perfectly consistent. The third company abandons the eastern barricade and moves toward the wagons. That opens the left flank. The revenants see it, or their commander does. The antlered knight points its sword. The undead formation pivots, not toward the trapped soldiers, toward the soul steel. I notice first. Odrin notices second. Brannick notices third. That difference matters. Move the wagons, Odrin roars. Too late. The first revenant wave slams into the convoy escorts. Steel collides, men scream, horses panic. One wagon overturns. A black chest crashes onto the stones. Its lock splits. Silver-black ingots spill across the courtyard. The air changes. My class reacts instantly. Every phantom anchor I carry inside the command link pulls toward the metal. Not physically, resonance. Strong. Painfully strong. A system alert flashes across my sight. Compatible spiritual conductor detected. Phantom doctrine, stabilization efficiency, increased within proximity. There. One bottleneck. Maybe. Not solved, but cracked open. I move toward the fallen chest. Brannick sees me. Hail! I stop. He points his sword. Stay where you are. The antlered commander cuts through 2 Veld guards. Odrin screams for reinforcements. Brannick still watches me. That tells me exactly how dangerous he thinks the secret is. More dangerous than the undead commander currently killing his men. Excellent. I raise both hands. I am staying. He advances. 5 steps. 4. 3. A revenant attacks him from the side. He blocks. Strong. Much stronger than Corvin. His sword glows blue. Awakened martial skill. The revenant's head comes off. So Brannick is not useless. Good to know. He turns back toward me. Now the antlered commander roars. Every undead in the courtyard slams its weapon against its shield. Once, the sound hits the walls. Twice. The surviving horses rear. 3 times. Then the revenants surge. This is no random push. It is a compression attack. Front rank pins. Second rank drives. Third rank exploits openings. Crude. Effective. The Veld company begins folding inward. Brannick is forced to turn away from me. I move. Not toward safety. Toward the soul steel. I grab 1 ingot. Cold cuts into my palm. My vision fills with black-white lines. not a system interface. A formation map. Every nearby corpse anchor becomes sharper. Every phantom link becomes easier to distinguish. Soulsteel does not create power. It conducts command intent. I almost laugh. This world uses it to store spiritual energy in chests. Wasteful. I press the ingot against my chest. Raise. The primary phantom returns, not the Veldguard. Edric. I deliberately reach for the original anchor. He forms beside me. 53% stability. Heavy spectral armor. Full weapon. The soul steel pulses. His outline hardens instantly. Not permanent. Proximity effect. But massive. Brannock turns. He sees the phantom. This time fear appears. Small. Real. You. I point toward the antlered commander. Edric. The phantom raises its weapon. First time I use the name. Not because he needs one, because rank matters. Identity matters. Commanders need designation. Take the left. He moves. I attach 3 corpses from fallen Veld soldiers beneath him. Then 3 more. Mana drains brutally. I stop at 6. Too expensive. No matter. 6 is enough to test. The revenant wave crashes forward. My phantoms enter from the side. They do not attack randomly. They hit the shield carriers. Low. At the knees. Exactly where the formation is weakest. The first enemy rank stumbles. The second rank compresses. For 1 second, the entire undead push loses alignment. The human soldiers do not understand why. I do. Now. No one knows I am speaking to them. Edric does. He raises his weapon. The 6 phantoms strike again. This time, not to kill, to widen the seam. The revenant formation opens. 3 feet. 5. 8. Enough. The human defenders surge through instinctively. Enemy pressure drops. Odrin shouts orders. Wrong ones. He tells the soldiers to hold position. Coward. The correct move is to exploit the breach. I have no authority here, so I create my own. I climb onto the overturned wagon. 3rd company. Half the soldiers ignore me. The other half look because my voice carries. Advance 6 paces. A captain turns. Who the hell? A revenant spear enters his chest. Problem solved. The soldiers hesitate. I point toward the gap. 6 paces or die where you stand. Fear makes the decision. They advance. Not cleanly, not elegantly, but enough. The undead line bends backward. The antlered commander reacts. Good. Its sword points toward me, so it recognizes the source of disruption. Better, it leaves the center. Exactly what I want. It charges. Odrin screams. Protect the wagons. Again. Still the wagons. Incredible. The antlered commander ignores them. It wants me. I jump down from the wagon. The creature crosses the courtyard. 20 paces, 18. 6 phantoms intercept. The commander cleaves through 2. Command shock hits Edric. He staggers. I feel the feedback through him. 4 remain. The enemy commander swings again. 2 more phantoms vanish. Now 2. Edric's stability drops. 53, 49, 45. Brannock laughs. Actually laughs. There. That's your limit. I glance at him. Is it? The antlered commander charges Edric. Stage 1. Take the blow. Learn the weight. Learn the timing. Learn the recovery. Edric blocks. His spectral weapon explodes. He is thrown backward. Stability falls to 38. The enemy commander raises its sword. I watch the shoulder. Too wide. The armor locks at the collar when the sword lifts above horizontal. There. Stage 2. Read. I have seen enough. Left knee. Edric moves. The surviving subordinate phantoms attack the commander's left leg. One dies instantly. The other gets behind it. The antlered knight turns. Slow. Exactly as predicted. I grip the soul steel ingot. Now I test something I have only used in fragments. Not a new ability. A refinement. Doctrine imprint. The phrase is mine. The system does not provide it. Mana drains. Hard. Spectral lines explode from the soul steel into Edric. His armor changes. Not thicker everywhere, only where needed. Left shoulder reinforced. Right arm lighter. Weapon reforms into a long hooked spear. A formation-specific body. Built for one purpose. Anti-heavy infantry control. This is the skill. Not summoning. Not armor. Battlefield doctrine physically imposed onto the dead. Edric plants the hook behind the antlered commander's knee. The last subordinate slams into the opposite side. The giant enemy stumbles. Stage 3. Fire. I run forward. Brannick shouts something. I ignore him. The antlered commander swings downward. Edric catches the weapon shaft with his hook. Not enough to stop it. Enough to shift it. The blade misses my head. I step inside. Close. Too close for its sword. I drive the soul steel ingot directly into the crack beneath its breastplate. Nothing happens. For half a heartbeat. Then every phantom link around me screams. The ingot conducts my command imprint straight through the enemy's soul structure. I feel it, not control. Resistance. A hierarchy. This creature is not merely undead. It is receiving orders from somewhere else. Far away. Deep beneath the valley. A stronger command source. Interesting. Dangerous. Later. Right now, I twist the ingot. Break formation. The command is not accepted. Of course not. I am not its master. But the soul steel carries enough disruptive intent to stagger the link. The antlered commander freezes. One heartbeat. That is all I need. Edric. He moves. Hook behind the neck. Full body rotation. The enemy commander falls to one knee. Brannock stares. Odrin stares. Every surviving soldier nearby stares. I do not. I step back. Finish it. Edric drives his newly formed spear through the crack beneath the antlered helmet. The point erupts from the back. The commander goes still. Then its entire soul structure collapses. Black fire erupts upward. Stage 4. Harvest. The amount is insane. Soul residue pours across the courtyard. Edric absorbs first. 38% stability becomes 46. 59. 71. His armor becomes brutally solid. The hook spear sharpens. The spectral crest on his helmet expands into a narrow command ridge. The surviving subordinate absorbs next. Then the dead Veld soldiers beneath the formation link react. One rises, then another, then 3 more. I do not command each individually. Edric does. The hierarchy rebuilds itself using available anchors. A system alert flashes rapidly. Primary Phantom Commander has reached advanced stability threshold. Formation bandwidth increased from 9 to 27. Secondary Command Doctrine unlocked. Armored Phantom Specialization available. 27. There is the jump. Not linear. Threshold-based. Excellent. More residue remains. I redirect it. Downward distribution. Edric raises his spear. Soul energy floods through the newly raised troops. Their spectral armor thickens. Not like his. Simpler. Uniform. Shoulder plates. Chest guards. Helmets. Short weapons. For the first time, I am not looking at ghosts. I am looking at a unit. A real one. 9 armored phantoms stand behind Edric. Then 12. 15. The available corpse anchors limit the count before the new bandwidth does. I stop at 18. Mana nearly empty. No point collapsing here. The courtyard has gone strangely silent. The human defenders stare at the armored dead. Odrin's expression is unreadable. Brannock's is not. Fear has finished growing. He points at me. Necromancer. As though he has finally understood the class label. I look at the ruined courtyard. 18 phantoms. 1 advanced commander. 1 soul steel ingot. Hundreds of enemy corpses. Thousands beyond the wall. And somewhere beneath the valley, something is commanding the Revenant army through the same kind of hierarchy I am only beginning to understand. Good. Arrival doctrine. That makes this more interesting. Then Odrin speaks. Corvin Hale. His tone changes completely. No contempt now. Calculation. You will report directly to me. I almost laugh. There it is. Power changes posture faster than morality ever does. I look down at Edric. His spear remains buried in the enemy commander's skull. He pulls it free. Then he turns toward Brannock. Without my order. Again, that protective behavior. Stronger now. Brannock notices. He takes 1 step backward. I notice that too. Odrin raises his voice. Your ability is now a military asset of House Veld. Military asset. Not soldier. Not person. Asset. Useful wording. Very useful. Because this morning, Brannock called me worthless. Now his uncle wants ownership. I dismiss every phantom except Edric. 18 armored figures collapse into black mist. Gasps ripple through the courtyard. Edric remains. One commander, one visible summon. Exactly what an F rank record says I can maintain. Odrin stares at him, then at me. I let exhaustion enter my posture. Not entirely fake. My mana is nearly gone. My arm bleeds, my ribs hurt, and my secret just survived its first battlefield test. That is enough for one day. I lower my eyes. Of course, Marshal. Brannick relaxes slightly. Odrin smiles. Both men believe the same thing, that I have just been absorbed into their chain of command. They are wrong, but correcting them now would be wasteful. Behind me, the dead-antlered commander begins collapsing into ash. Inside the remaining soul residue, I feel one final pulse, a distant command signal. 3 beats. Pause. 2 beats, then nothing. A recall pattern. Someone noticed their commander died. Someone far beyond Blackwall now knows an unknown force interfered. Good, let them wonder. For now, all they have is a battlefield rumor. One strange phantom, one impossible F-rank survivor, nothing more. I look at the soul steel ingot still in my hand. Then at the remaining 11 chests. Brannick thinks they belong to House Veld. Odrin thinks I belong to House Veld. The enemy commander thinks Blackwall belongs to its master. Too many people are confused about ownership. I can fix that. Slowly. Edric steps beside me. His new armor glows faintly beneath the smoke. I whisper so quietly only the soul link carries it. Remember this formation. His helmet inclines. Once. I look toward the thousands of corpses beyond the broken wall. One commander now controls 27. Secondary doctrine is unlocked. Armored specialization is available. The next layer is no longer theory, it is logistics. And Blackwall has just given me an entire battlefield full of raw material. By sunset, Blackwall has already invented 3 different versions of what happened in the Eastern Courtyard. In the first version, Marshal Odrin defeats the antlered commander personally. In the second, an unknown elite necromancer hidden among the reserves intervenes. In the third, House Veld unveils a secret military summon capable of turning dead soldiers into armored ghosts. No one mentions me. Perfect. I sit inside a storage room beneath the eastern barracks with my injured arm wrapped in fresh linen. Edric stands in the corner, motionless, heavy spectral armor, long hooked spear, 71% stability, and officially, according to every record inside Blackwall Fortress, he is an F-rank lesser phantom. I look at him. Ridiculous. His helmet tilts slightly. That is new. I narrow my eyes. Was that a reaction? Nothing. Of course. The door opens. A military healer steps inside carrying a wooden tray. She is young. Blue-gray uniform. Bronze rank pins. Her eyes flick toward Edric immediately, then back to me. She tries not to stare. Fails. Corvin Hale? Apparently. She pauses. Apparently? Long day. She accepts that more easily than she should. Probably because half the fortress watched armored corpses crawl through a wall today. She sets down the tray. Marshal Veld ordered full treatment. Interesting. Yesterday, Corvin would have been lucky to receive clean bandages. Now the Marshal spends healing supplies. A tiny shift. Useful. The healer cuts away my temporary wrap. The wound underneath is ugly but shallow. No tendon damage. Good. You lost more blood than you should have. I had other priorities. She glances at Edric again. Everyone is talking about that thing. I look at her. Thing? The phantom. Edric's helmet turns toward her. Slowly. The healer freezes. I do not tell him to stop. He can hear me? I don't know. That answer bothers her more. Good. She starts cleaning the wound. Third company says there were 20 of them. 18. The words leave my mouth before I decide whether I want them to. She stares. I sigh. Forget that. She absolutely will not. How does an F Rank Necromancer summon 18? I don't. Technically true. Edric does most of the organizational work. She waits for more. I give her nothing. Eventually, she lowers her voice. They're calling you the Grey Lieutenant. I look up. No. She blinks. No? That name is terrible. For the first time, she smiles. Barely. I don't think you get to choose rumors. I choose deployments. Rumors are someone else's administrative problem. She finishes tying the bandage. Before leaving, she looks at Edric one last time. He keeps watching the door. I glance over. She is right. Edric faces the entrance whenever someone approaches. No command, no instruction, protective positioning. Again. The healer leaves. The door closes. I stare at him. Turn around. He turns. Face the wall. He obeys. I wait. Footsteps approach outside. Before the person reaches the door, Edric's helmet shifts half an inch toward the sound. Interesting. Not enough to break the order. Enough to register threat. Autonomous behavior is increasing with stability. That could become useful. Or dangerous. I file it away. The door opens again. This time, Lieutenant Brannick enters. No healer, no tray, no courtesy. His eyes land on Edric. Then on me. You are coming with me. I stand. Where? My uncle wants a demonstration. Of course he does. I follow, not because Brannick commands me, because demonstrations reveal observers, and observers reveal priorities. The Eastern barracks have changed. Yesterday, no one looked at Corvin Hale except to avoid standing beside him. Now conversations stop when I pass. Some soldiers stare openly, others pretend not to. 2 recruits from the conscript trench recognize me. One whispers to the other. That's him. The second answers. The F rank? The one with the armored ghost. Brannick hears them. His shoulders stiffen. Excellent. My external status is changing faster than he likes. Not enough to make me important. Enough to make me inconvenient. We cross the central courtyard. Damaged crews work everywhere. Broken stone. Burned wagons. Blood washed toward the drains. 3 antlered commander corpses are displayed near the wall. Not the one Edric killed. Different sectors. So the enemy deployed multiple command units. That means hierarchy. Confirmed. I count banner types. Different stitching. Different armor markings. Potential divisions. Useful. Brannick notices me looking. Do not get distracted. I am surrounded by military information. I said don't. I almost admire how naturally he chooses bad advice. We enter the command hall. Marshal Odrin waits beside a large tactical table. 6 officers stand around him. 1 civilian. The civilian matters most. He wears a dark green coat with silver thread and no military insignia. His right hand carries 3 rings. Each ring is set with black crystal. Soul storage. Corvin's memories provide a name. Magister Salvek Wren, Director of the Western Bastion Summoner Registry, the official responsible for class certification, combat grading, and deployment licensing across 5 fortress cities. In other words, the man who decides whether my F rank status stays F rank. He looks at me the way merchants inspect livestock. Odrin gestures. Corvin Hale. Salvik does not offer a greeting. Summon it. I glance at Edric. He is already standing beside me. Salvik frowns. The one from the courtyard. This is the one from the courtyard. His eyes sharpen. Impossible. There is that word again. I am beginning to enjoy it. Salvek approaches. He circles Edric. No external catalyst. He touches one of his rings. A silver detection field spreads outward. Edric reacts. His spear shifts. Barely. Defensive angle. Salvek notices. So do I. Passive command response, he mutters. He looks at me. What did you awaken, F Rank Necromancer? I know what the crystal recorded. Then why ask? Brannick looks ready to hit me. Odrin raises one hand. He wants answers more than violence. For now, Salvek activates another ring. A thin line of light scans Edric. Spectral density far above Lesser Phantom baseline. He turns. Dismiss it. I do. Edric dissolves. Salvik's eyes narrow. Raise it again. I wait 3 seconds. Then recall Edric. He reforms. Perfectly armored. Same stability. Salvek steps back. His expression changes for the first time. Not fear. Professional hunger. Much worse. Repeat. I do. Dismiss. Raise, dismiss, raise. Each cycle costs stability. 71, 70, 69. Enough. I stop. No. The room goes quiet. Brannick takes 1 step forward. Do what you're told. I look at Salvek. Repeated dismissal degrades the summon. That catches his attention. By how much? I am still measuring. True. Why was this not reported at awakening? Because I discovered it while trying not to die. Odrin clears his throat. What about the other phantoms? I keep my expression dull. What other phantoms? Brannick's head snaps toward me. The 18 in the courtyard. Temporary battlefield effect. Not entirely false. Salvek studies me. Explain. Defeated soul residue reinforced the primary summon. Also true. And the others? Corpse resonance. Vague enough. Can you recreate them? I pause. This question matters. Not whether I can. Whether they think I can. If I say yes, Hausfeld immediately turns me into a controlled military asset. If I say no, they keep me close but underestimate the mechanism. Easy choice. Not reliably. Salvik looks disappointed. Brannick looks relieved. Odrin looks irritated. Excellent distribution. Salvek returns to the table. The class record remains provisional. Brannock speaks too quickly. Provisional? Salvik ignores him. F rank classification is based on demonstrated stable capacity, not anomaly events. Good. The registry protects its own authority. Even better. If he reproduces the effect under controlled conditions, I will reassess. Odrin folds his arms. How high? Unknown. Salvik looks at me. Potentially C rank. I almost laugh. C rank. He has no idea. That is exactly where I want him. Odrin seems pleased anyway. A C rank asset born from an F rank conscript is profitable. I can almost see the contracts forming behind his eyes. Then the civilian leans closer. One more test. He points toward a corpse on the far side of the chamber. I had not noticed it at first because a canvas covers most of the body. Human male. Military boots. Recently dead. Salvik removes the cloth. The corpse belongs to one of the fortress scouts. Arrow wound through the throat. Fresh anchor. You will raise him. I look at the body. Then at Salvek. Why? Baseline comparison. Reasonable. Also dangerous. If I raise him independently while Edric remains active, the system will deny it. That would reinforce my F rank cover. Perfect. I touch the corpse. Raise. Cold passes through my hand. Nothing. The system confirms command capacity exceeded. I step back. Failed. Brannock smiles. There it is. Relief. Salvik nods slowly. Dismiss the first. I do not. I already told you repeated dismissal degrades stability. You want reassessment? No. That surprises everyone. I shrug. I survived today with F rank on my record. Salvek stares. You do not want promotion? Rank is a label. Brannock laughs. Spoken like someone who knows he'll never earn one. I look at him. Maybe. The smile on his face grows. Good. Feed the arrogance. Salvek eventually waves toward the door. Enough. Odrin stops me before I leave. Holly. I turn. Starting tomorrow, you are reassigned to Eastern Recovery Detail. Corvin's memories tell me Recovery Detail is corpse collection. Soulstone retrieval. Battlefield salvage. Normally humiliating work. Usually assigned to failed classes. I almost admire the luck. Under whose command? Lieutenant Brannock. There it is. The leash. And the opportunity. Brannock looks pleased. He thinks he has been given control over me. I have just been handed unrestricted access to thousands of corpses. I lower my head. Understood. We leave the command hall. Brannock waits until the doors close. Then he grabs my shoulder. Listen carefully. I glance at his hand. He removes it. Progress. You embarrassed me today. I survived. You disobeyed orders. Those orders killed hundreds. His face darkens. Those men were conscripts. There it is. Not soldiers. Not people. Inventory. He leans closer. Tomorrow, you collect corpses. You keep your head down. You summon nothing unless I tell you. Fine. And if I see another trick like the courtyard, you'll kill me? His mouth tightens. Eventually, I nod. Good to know. I walk away. He hates that I do not react properly. That is becoming one of the few reliable pleasures in this fortress. Outside, night settles over Blackwall. Torches burn along the repaired walls. Workers drag bodies into long rows. Hundreds. No, thousands. Enemy revenants separate from human dead. Officers mark salvageable equipment. Priests inspect corrupted corpses. And everywhere I walk, whispers follow. The ghost soldier, F rank, Hausveld's secret summon. No, I heard the registry sent him. I heard he killed the commander himself. I heard there were 50 phantoms. 50. Rumors scale faster than armies. Useful lesson. Edric walks beside me. Visible, I let him. Every soldier who sees one phantom believes they are seeing the whole truth. That is the best kind of camouflage. A medic cart rolls past. One wheel catches on broken stone. The driver curses. A corpse slides halfway off the back. Before I react, Edric steps forward. He catches the body. Solid hands. Full grip. He lifts it back onto the cart. The driver freezes. So do I. I did not command that. Edric releases the corpse. Then steps back beside me. The driver makes a sign against evil. Thanks? Edric does nothing. I stare at him. He stares forward. 70% stability. Autonomous guard behavior. Now autonomous assistance. Not random. The corpse wore the same conscript insignia Edric carried in life. Interesting. A remnant of identity. I keep walking. You're becoming inconvenient. His helmet turns toward me. I swear he does that deliberately now. We reach the lower barracks. The surviving F rank recruits sleep there. Or try to. When I enter, conversation stops. 20 men look at Edric. Then at me. One recognizes him. His face goes pale. Edric? The phantom stops. So do I. A thin young recruit rises from his bunk. Moss? Edric turns toward him. Slowly. The recruit's eyes widen. You idiot. His voice cracks. You actually died. Edric remains silent. Then he lifts one fist. Touches it once against his chest. The same military submission posture he used the first time I raised him. Except this time, I did not command it. The room goes completely quiet. Something tightens inside the soul link. Not an order. Not emotion exactly. Recognition. The young recruit wipes his face and laughs once through whatever he is trying not to show. Yeah. That's him. I look away. Sentiment is tactically useless. Memory is not. A phantom with retained identity may become a stronger officer than one built entirely from doctrine. Potentially more independent. Potentially harder to control. Potentially invaluable. I need data. Tomorrow gives me plenty. I lie down on the narrow bunk assigned to Corvin Hale. Edric stands beside the door. Again, no order, no rest. No movement. Outside, Blackwall whispers about an unknown armored phantom unit. Inside, Hausveld believes I am a damaged F rank they can own. The registry believes I may someday reach C rank. Brannick believes tomorrow's recovery assignment will humiliate me. Every single one of them is helping. Because tomorrow, they are marching me into the largest corpse field I have ever seen. And this time, I am bringing soul steel. Dawn turns the corpse field outside Blackwall silver. Brannock calls it recovery duty. I call it unrestricted access to raw materials. He stands on a broken section of the outer wall, with 30 conscripts arranged behind him, and a silk scarf tied over his nose. Apparently, dead bodies are acceptable when other people carry them. Listen carefully, he says. Weapons first. Soulstones second, armor third, bodies last. I look across the valley. Thousands of corpses stretch between shattered siege stakes and collapsed trenches. Human soldiers, crimson revenants, corpse beasts. 3 antlered commanders. And scattered among them, fragments of formations that died exactly where they stood. The battlefield is practically explaining itself to me. Brannick keeps talking. Anything marked with Hausveld silver goes directly to our wagons. One conscript raises a hand. What about fortress inventory seals? Brannock turns toward him. Did I say fortress inventory? The hand drops. Good. The theft continues. Even better. I glance at the wagon nearest us. 4 soul steel chests sit beneath canvas. Not 12. 8 disappeared overnight. Probably transferred into the eastern tunnels. That gives me a target. Brannick notices me looking. Hale. I meet his eyes. Yes? You touched none of it, of course, he smiles. There is something deeply satisfying about being believed by stupid men. We descend into the field. Edric follows beside me. Visible. One summon. One harmless F rank phantom. Exactly what everyone expects. The other conscripts avoid him. A few stare. One gives Edric a cautious nod. Edric returns it, barely. I notice. Again. His retained identity continues strengthening. I still have not decided whether that is good. The first hour is intentionally boring. I collect swords, broken armor, soul stones. I drag bodies towards sorting rows. Brannock watches me twice. Both times, I am doing exactly what he ordered. By the third hour, he stops checking. Predictable. People do not maintain suspicion when reality repeatedly rewards laziness. That is why disguises work. I wait until his patrol moves toward the southern ridge. Then I take Edric into a collapsed trench. 3 enemy corpses lie inside. 1 human. 2 revenants. No witnesses. I pull a soul steel fragment from inside my boot. Not an ingot. Too obvious. Just a shaving I cut from the courtyard piece last night. Small enough to hide, large enough to conduct. I press it against Edric's gauntlet. His armor sharpens. Immediate response. Good. Then I touch the first revenant corpse. Attach. Edric raises one hand. A phantom rises. Different. The revenant's phantom retains fragments of enemy armor. Jagged shoulder plates. Narrow visor. Long spectral spear. But its corpse fire is gone. Only gray soul light remains. I watch carefully. No hostility. No resistance. The command link holds. So enemy corpses work as anchors even after hostile soul residue is removed. Excellent. I attach the second. Then the human. 3 soldiers. Edric's bandwidth barely notices them. I give a simple order. Advance. The 3 move. Enemy and human phantom together. No conflict. Doctrine overrides faction. Useful. I send them 50 paces down the trench, then 100, then around a bend. Edric remains beside me. The formation executes perfectly enough, not because the soldiers improved, because Edric did. At 70% stability, his relay delay is noticeably lower, so officer quality increases subordinate responsiveness. Another bottleneck loosening. I dismiss all 3. They collapse into the corpses. Then I mark the bodies, not visibly. Through the command imprint, a faint pressure remains when I focus on them. Anchor recognition. I walk away. 200 paces. 300. The marks remain. Faint, but detectable. That changes everything. I do not need to raise an army now. I need to catalog one. For the next 4 hours, I work. Publicly, I salvage. Privately, Edric tags corpses. Every time Brannock's patrol disappears, I touch another body. Suitable infantry. Suitable officer. Damaged anchor. Beast anchor. Heavy frame. Potential cavalry substitute. Poor resonance. Excellent resonance. By noon, I have marked 87. By mid-afternoon, 216. By sunset, 409. Not summons. Potential summons. That distinction keeps me alive. Mana remains mostly intact because marking costs almost nothing. Creation happens later. Underground. Out of sight. I also notice something else. The battlefield is being stripped in patterns. House Veldwagons take soulstones from enemy officers. Registry teams take unusual corpses. Priests burn corrupted remains. Ordinary infantry bodies are piled for mass cremation. That gives me a deadline. Anything I want must disappear before the priests arrive tomorrow night. 400 anchors are not enough. I need thousands. I change methods. Instead of touching every corpse individually, I test command marking through Edric. Mark suitable infantry. He stops, then slowly turns toward a row of dead revenants. His spear glows faintly. 1 corpse responds, then another, then 6. A wave of pressure spreads through the trench. My mana drops slightly. Not much. 23 corpses become recognizable inside the command sense. I stare at him. There it is. Delegated selection. Of course. A general does not inspect every recruit personally. Officers do. I refine the order. Prioritize intact anchors. Ignore severe cranial destruction. Ignore burned soul channels. Edric moves down the row. His spear taps the ground every few steps. Marks appear inside my awareness. Faster. Much faster. My smile becomes difficult to hide. Brannock sees it from across the field. What are you grinning at? I pick up a severed helmet. Nothing. He looks at the helmet. Then at me. You're strange. Coming from him, I take that as progress. By dusk, Edric has marked 1,312 usable anchors. Enough for a regiment in my old army. Not enough here. I want command depth. We return to Blackwall. At the gate, Brannock stops the convoy. He counts the soul steel chests personally. 4. Only 4 came back from the field. One wagon captain looks nervous. Brannock notices. So? The captain swallows. 2 fragments are missing. Brannock's face changes instantly. How much? Less than 1 ingot total. He looks at every conscript. Then at me. Naturally. Search them. The guards begin. Pockets. Boots. Belts. Sleeves. I remain calm. The soul steel shaving is no longer on me. I embedded it inside Edric's spectral gauntlet 20 minutes ago. Not physically. The fragment is currently sitting inside the hollow cavity of his corpse anchor. His corpse anchor is buried beneath the old cistern. Good luck searching that. A guard pats me down. Nothing. Brannock scowls. Then he looks at Edric. Dismiss it. Interesting. He learned from Salvek. I do not hesitate. Edric dissolves. The soul steel fragment remains wherever I stored it. Brannock walks around me. Nothing. Raise it. I do. Edric returns. Still nothing visible. Brannock clicks his tongue. Move. I obey. Again, suspicion rewarded with nothing. Again, laziness will follow. That night, I do not sleep. I wait until the barracks goes quiet. Edric stands by the door. The surviving recruits breathe heavily around me. Someone snores. Someone mutters in a nightmare. I open my eyes. Now. Edric turns. We leave. No one stops me. The first guard near the lower barracks recognizes the phantom and assumes I am under orders. The second does not ask. The third is asleep. Blackwall security has already adapted to my presence in the most useful way possible. I am becoming familiar. Familiar things stop being inspected. We descend into the old tunnels. The cistern waits. Dark. Cold. Perfect. I recall the marked corpse network. Pressure fills my mind. More than 1,000 anchors across the battlefield. Too far for summoning directly, but I do not need to. Not yet. I need officers. I begin with the old bones in the cistern. Edric selects 9 strong anchors. 9 phantoms rise. He promotes 3. The system resists. Mana drains. Soul stability distributes. 2 promotions succeed. 1 fails. Good. I feed the failure's residue from preserved hostile soul stones. That is another discovery. Normal soul stones cannot create phantom anchors. But shattered and released near an existing phantom, they provide partial reinforcement. I crush one. Black residue spills outward. Edric redirects it. The 3rd promotion succeeds. 3 secondary officers, each with subordinate bandwidth 3. I name none of them. Not yet. Identity matters when it earns relevance. I create 9 subordinate soldiers. Then another 9. Mana drops below half. I stop. 28 active phantoms, including Edric. No collapse, no command failure. Good. Now the real work begins. I assign doctrines. 1st Secondary Officer Shield Infantry. 2nd Spear Line. 3rd Reconnaissance. The Reconnaissance Doctrine is the hardest. Phantom bodies are silent. Useful. But their command relay is weak at distance. I solve that with simplicity. No complex observations. Only 3 signals. Enemy. Safe. Return. Primitive. Reliable. I send the reconnaissance unit through the lower tunnels. Their officer leads 3 phantoms. 10 minutes pass. A pulse returns. Safe. 15 minutes. Another. Enemy. I smile. Something hostile still lives below Blackwall. More soul residue. More training. I take the shield and spear units with me. The scout officer waits at an intersection. 1 phantom points down a drainage passage. Not words. Body language. Efficient enough. We enter. The creature waiting there resembles a giant centipede made from human vertebrae. Disgusting. Also useful. It strikes first. My shield unit absorbs the impact. 2 phantoms shatter. Command shock travels upward. The officer staggers. Edric barely reacts. Hierarchy distributes the pain. Excellent. I watch the centipede recoil. Its front plates overlap. Weakness beneath the 3rd segment. I point. Spear line. 3rd joint. The 2nd officer relays. 3 spectral spears hit together. The creature twists. Shield unit reforms around it. 1 phantom grabs. Another pins. The enemy lashes its tail. A soldier disappears. No panic. No improvisation. Just doctrine. Rotate. The spear unit changes angle. Hits again. The third segment cracks. Green soul light leaks out. Break. Edric raises his hook spear. He moves personally. One strike. The centipede splits. Soul residue floods the tunnel. I distribute it downward. Not to Edric. To the officers. Their stability rises. 28. 33. 37. One crosses 40. A system alert appears. Secondary command unit meets expanded bandwidth threshold. Subordinate capacity increases from 3 to 9. There, the branching pattern is confirmed. Bandwidth does not depend purely on rank. Stability changes it. 3 becomes 9. Edric went from 9 to 27. Multiplicative. Now I understand the architecture. Each threshold triples subordinate capacity. If repeated, one commander can become 27. Each of those, if stabilized, can become 9 or 27 more. The numbers explode. But so do mana cost and soul requirements. That is the catch. Scale is available. Fuel is not. Yet, I look toward the battlefield above. Thousands of hostile soul remnants. Thousands of corpse anchors. 4 soul steel chests still inside Blackwall. 8 hidden somewhere beneath House Veld control. The problem is becoming logistical. Finally, something familiar. I spend the rest of the night building structure. Not numbers. Structure first. Edric at the top. 3 officers beneath him. Each officer receives a doctrine. Shield. Spear. Scout. Then I begin training command independence. I leave the shield officer at the cistern entrance. Standing order. No entry without my recognition signal. I leave the spear officer near the corpse vault. Standing order. Protect anchors. Do not pursue. Scout unit receives route instructions. Patrol 3 tunnels. Report hostile movement. Never engage alone. Simple. Repeatable. By dawn, they execute without me. Not perfectly. The scout unit misses one branch. The shield unit reacts late. The spear officer turns too aggressively during a false alarm. I correct them. Again. Again. Doctrine efficiency climbs. Small increments. Enough. I realize something while watching them. I am not building undead. I am building institutional memory. Every repetition becomes easier. Every formation preserves part of my tactical method. If I die again, I stop. No. Irrelevant. For now. I return to the barracks before morning roll call. No one notices I was gone. Almost no one. The young recruit who recognized Edric yesterday is awake. He sits on his bunk, watching the door. His name surfaces from Corvin's memories. Tomas Venn, Edric's closest friend. Tomas looks at my muddy boots, then at Edric. Then at me. Where were you? Walking. At 4 in the morning? I enjoy bad decisions. He does not laugh. His eyes move to Edric's armor. He's different. Correct. The shoulder plates are thicker. The command crest sharper. Tiny changes. A normal person should not notice. Tomas does. How? I sit. Training. You train ghosts? I train soldiers. Edric turns his helmet toward me. Tomas notices that too. He lowers his voice. Can he remember? There it is. A dangerous question. I don't know. Tomas looks at Edric. His sister lives in Southgate. I say nothing. He used to send half his pay home. Still nothing. If he's still in there, I finally look at him. Then being useful is the safest thing he can be. Tomas stiffens. Probably not the answer he wanted. I do not care. Sentiment does not protect Edric. Strength might. Outside, the morning bell rings. Recovery duty again. Good. I need more anchors. But when I reach the courtyard, something has changed. Brannick is not waiting alone. Marshal Odrin stands beside him. So does Magister Salvek. And behind them, 6 fortress wagons are loaded with empty iron cages. Not corpse carts. Prisoner cages. Odrin gestures toward the valley. New assignment. I look at the cages. Recovery? Salvik answers. Capture. Interesting. He opens a map. Enemy movement has been marked along the northern ravine. A cluster of lesser revenants remains cut off from the main army. Approximately 200. Salvik taps the position. We need live undead for registry examination. Brannick smiles. And you need to prove yesterday wasn't a fluke. There it is. A controlled test. Witnesses. Exactly what I do not want. Odrin folds his arms. You will use your phantom to assist the capture team. I look at the map. 200 revenants, narrow ravine, limited escape, House Veld troops watching, registry observers watching, perfect conditions to expose too much, or perfect conditions to expose exactly what I choose. I study the terrain. Then I notice the southern ridge on the map. A collapsed aqueduct runs beneath it. The old fortress tunnels likely connect there. My scouts may be able to reach it from below. I suppress the smile. They want a demonstration. Fine. I can give them one phantom, maybe 3, enough to confirm C-rank potential. While beneath their feet, an entire hidden command structure moves into position. Brannock leans closer. Try not to disappoint us, F Rank. I look at him, then at the cages, then at the battlefield beyond Blackwall. The trap I need has just handed me its first piece. I lower my head. Wouldn't dream of it. The northern ravine is almost too perfect. That makes me suspicious immediately. 200 revenants are supposedly trapped between Blackwall patrols and a collapsed stone aqueduct. No commander unit. No retreat path. No reinforcement signal. Just 200 conveniently isolated undead waiting for the registry to study. I stand at the ravine entrance beside Brannock and 24 Veld soldiers. Magister Salvek watches from a raised observation platform behind us. 3 registry scribes sit beneath canvas awnings with detection crystals arranged across their tables. 6 iron prisoner wagons wait farther back. Everything about this operation says controlled experiment. I am the experiment. Brannock points toward the ravine. Summon your phantom. Edric is already beside me. Brannock's eye twitches. Apparently he still dislikes forgetting when I summoned him. Fine. Send it ahead. No. He turns slowly. What? There are 200 undead in a narrow channel. So sending one phantom into the center is stupid. You have an F rank class. That does not require F rank thinking. One Veld soldier coughs into his fist. Brannock glares at him. I study the ravine again. Steep walls. Loose shale. Dead trees along the western ridge. The aqueduct crosses beneath the northern end. More importantly, a hairline pressure touches my command sense from below. 3 pulses. Pause. 1. My scout officer. Already in position. Good. Last night, I sent the underground patrol north through the forgotten drainage system. I did not know whether the tunnel would connect to the aqueduct. Now I do. The hidden unit is beneath us. No one above knows. Exactly as planned. Salvik raises his voice from the platform. Hala, begin. I lift one hand. Adric. Reconnaissance. He moves forward. Alone. Visible. Simple. The observers start writing. I almost feel sorry for them. They think the lesson is happening in front of them. Edric enters the ravine. The first revenants notice him after 20 paces. 3 rush forward. He retreats. Not because they overwhelm him. Because I told him to. The revenants follow. 7 more join. Then 12. Edric continues backing toward us. Brannock snorts. That's your great phantom? I say nothing. The revenants keep pursuing. Their spacing stretches. Front elements separate from the mass. Exactly what I need. Capture team forward. Brannock raises his sword. Veld soldiers advance with hooked chains and suppression nets. The first revenant reaches them. A net drops. Chains pull. 1 captured. Then 2. The registry scribes immediately become more interested. Good. I let the process repeat. Edric approaches. Draws a small group. Retreats. Veld soldiers capture them. 7 prisoners. Then 11. Then 16. Salvik calls down. Efficient. Brannock does not like that. He wants spectacle. Salvek wants repeatability. I want both men to believe they understand what they are seeing. By the 5th cycle, the revenants adapt. The next group does not chase Edric. They tighten formation. 25 undead create a shield wall. Interesting. Someone trained them, not merely animated them. I feel the distant enemy command signal again. Faint. Too faint to trace. But present. So these 200 are not isolated. Their command relay is merely weak. That makes the operation much more useful. Brannock points. Break them. I look at him. Capture or destroy? Break the line. We capture what survives. He wants me to demonstrate force. Fine, I have exactly the amount of force I intend to reveal. Edric. The Phantom plants his hook spear. His armor shifts slightly. Doctrine imprint. Not new. Refined. Right shoulder lightens. Left side thickens. The hook angle changes. Salvik leans forward. The detection crystals begin glowing. Good. Let him measure this. I want him focused on armor adaptation. Not hierarchy. Edric charges. One Phantom against 25 Revenants. Brannock smiles. He expects failure. The shield wall closes. Edric hits it. Hard. Spectral metal screams against rusted shields. The Revenants push. Edric gives ground. 1 pace. 2. 3. Stage 1. Receive. I watch. Front rank locks, shields high. Second rank thrusts beneath. The center right Revenant is half a beat slower than the others. Not because it is damaged, because its command signal arrives later. That means the relay enters from the left. Interesting. Stage 2. Read. Edric. Right 3. He moves sideways. The Revenants turn, slowly. The left flank moves first. Confirmed. Command input enters from their left, somewhere beyond the western ridge. I mark that. Then I give the visible order. Break center right. Edric changes grip. Doctrine imprint flares across his armor. The hook spear narrows. He steps inside the slow Revenant's thrust. Hooks the shield rim. Twists. One shield opens. He does not attack the exposed enemy. He yanks the shield sideways. The Revenant collides with the soldier beside it. The second rank compresses. A seam opens. Stage 3. Fire. Now. The Veld capture team thinks the order is for them. Perfect. They charge. So does something beneath the earth. My hidden scout officer receives a standing signal through the tunnel network. Not an attack order. A movement trigger. 3 unseen Phantoms climb through the broken aqueduct behind the Revenant formation. No one on our side can see them. The ravine wall blocks the view. They do not strike. They simply take positions beside the enemy's retreat route. Insurance. The visible fight continues. Edric tears the seam wider. Veld soldiers flood through. Suppression chains snap around Revenant limbs. 7 enemies go down, then 12. The shield wall collapses. Brannock raises his sword triumphantly as if he planned any of this. I let him. A competent decoy should enjoy itself. Then the enemy signal changes. 3 sharp pulses rip across my command sense. The Revenants stop resisting capture. Every single one. I freeze. That is wrong. Brannock does not notice. Salvik does. He stands. What happened? The Revenants kneel. Not surrendering. Synchronizing. Their corpse fire brightens. I recognize the pattern 1 heartbeat before the first body swells. Back. The nearest Veld soldier looks at me. Too late. A captured Revenant explodes. Green corpse fire erupts through the suppression net. 3 soldiers disappear inside it. The other prisoners begin swelling. Not capture targets, bombs. Someone deliberately left these 200 here. The registry operation was expected, not by chance. The enemy understands Blackwall's salvage habits. Good. That means intelligence. Bad. That means someone is watching us. Brannock shouts incoherent orders. Kill them. No, pull back. Get the cages useless. I take command because nobody else is doing it. Cut the chains. The Veld soldiers hesitate. Cut them or burn with them. That works. Men hack through restraints. The swelling Revenants rise. Edric moves toward the center. I stop him. Not yet. The enemy wants density. Exploding corpses inside clustered troops. So I remove density. Spread by 5. Some soldiers understand. Others do not. I physically shove one aside. 5 paces between bodies. The order spreads. Salvik is yelling at his registry staff to retreat from the observation platform. Good. Brannock remains near me. Bad for him. The first free Revenant detonates. The blast catches nobody. Second. Nothing. Third. 1 soldier burns, but survives. The ambush loses value immediately. Whoever designed this expected panic. Panic is only useful when allowed. Then the ravine walls begin glowing. Ah, of course. Secondary mechanism. Runes emerge beneath the shale. The explosions are not the weapon. They are fuel. The revenant souls pour into the carved channels. The entire ravine activates. A barrier seals the entrance behind us. Salvek is trapped outside. We are trapped inside. Brannick goes pale. What is this? A proper ambush. The ground splits. Something climbs from beneath the center of the ravine. Not another antlered commander. Larger. 6 arms. Heavy segmented armor. A rectangular tower shield fused to its left side. 3 spectral chains hang from its back. Its helmet has no face, only a vertical red slit. Every remaining revenant turns toward it. A commander. Higher rank. The distant signal condenses around this creature. So this is the relay source. Not outside the ravine. Buried beneath it. I almost smile. They hid the commander inside the trap. That is good work. The creature raises one arm. The remaining revenants form 3 concentric circles. First, ring shields. Second, spears. Third, archers with bone bows. Brannick finally understands. We need reinforcements. The barrier blocks them. Then break it. With what? He looks at me. There it is, the moment he hates most. Needing the F rank, I look at the enemy commander. Then at the western aqueduct. My hidden phantoms are still behind the formation. Unseen, 3 scouts, not enough to win. Enough to create the illusion I need. The Veld soldiers form around Brannock. 17 remain combat capable. 2 wounded, 1 burning. Edric stands alone in front of me. Visible strength. 1 phantom. Exactly what the observers outside can see through the barrier. Perfect. I point toward the enemy commander. Edric. Defensive doctrine. His armor thickens. Hook spear shortens. Spectral shield forms along his left arm. Salvek can see that. He will conclude my anomaly is adaptive equipment. Let him. The 6-armed commander attacks. Fast. Far faster than its size suggests. Its tower shield crashes into Edric. The impact throws him 20 feet. Stability drops. 70. 63. The Veld soldiers stare. Brannick whispers, "It's stronger than yesterday's." Correct. Good observation. Useless timing. Enemy archers fire. Down, we drop. Bone arrows hammer the stones. 1 Veld soldier remains standing too long. 3 arrows enter his chest. He falls. I watch the enemy commander. It did not order the volley with its arms. The signal came through the chains on its back. 3 separate relay channels, 1 for each formation ring. That is sophisticated. It is also vulnerable. Break the relay chains. Break formation coordination. I need Edric alive long enough to do it. Edric. Left chain. He charges. The enemy commander blocks with the tower shield. Predictable. Edric rebounds. Second attack. Blocked. Third. Blocked again. Brannick snarls. He's doing nothing. I look at him. Then feel free to replace him. He shuts up. Edric attacks a 4th time. This time, he does not target the commander. He strikes the ground beside the tower shield. The hook catches a spectral chain. There. I have the angle. Pull. Edric plants his feet. The chain stretches. The commander turns. One of the outer revenant rings hesitates. Command relay disruption confirmed. A scout pulse touches my mind from behind the enemy. Ready. Good. I use the skill I want everyone to remember, not the hidden army, the visible one. Doctrine imprint anchor breaker. Soul steel resonance surges through the fragment hidden in Edric's distant corpse anchor. His weapon changes. The hook becomes heavier, shorter. Designed not to pierce, to rip. He yanks. The first chain tears free from the enemy commander's back. Black-red soul fire erupts. The outer archer ring collapses into confusion. Salvek is watching. Perfect. Brannock is watching. Even better. They will tell everyone the same story. The F-rank Phantom can adapt weapons to battlefield roles. A rare ability, dangerous, but understandable. Understandable lies survive longer. The enemy commander roars. All 6 arms strike. Edric blocks 2. Dodges 1. 3 hit. His shield shatters. Armor cracks. Stability plunges to 48. I feel the command shock. Hard. My vision blurs. Brannick sees me stagger. He smiles. He thinks he found the cost. Let him, Edric. Fall back. He retreats. The commander follows. Exactly as planned. Closer, closer, 10 paces from the western aqueduct. 5. I tap my heel against stone. 3 times. The hidden signal. My scout phantoms emerge behind it. Only 3, weak, unarmored, barely stable, but perfectly positioned. They grab the remaining 2 relay chains. The commander freezes. Brannock's mouth opens. Where did corpse resonance? I answer before he finishes. He does not understand. Good. The scouts pull in opposite directions. Edric charges from the front. The enemy commander tries to raise its shield. Too late. Edric's anchor breaker hook catches the final central chain. I lower my hand. Break! All 3 chains snap at once. The revenant circles stop. Every undead in the ravine loses synchronization. Stage 3 complete. Now the commander is alone. It is still stronger than Edric. That no longer matters. The Veld soldiers realize the lesser revenants are disorganized. They attack. For once, Brannock makes the correct choice. Kill everything. He charges with them. Fine. Let House Veld do the cleaning. I keep my eyes on the 6-armed commander. Without relay channels, it fights personally. Brutal. Fast. But simple. Edric engages. The commander swings. Edric steps inside. 1 strike cracks his breastplate. He stays. 2nd strike. He loses half a shoulder guard. 3rd, he catches the arm. Solid. For 3 heartbeats. Enough. 1 hidden scout clamps onto another arm. Then another. The commander tears 1 phantom apart. Feedback snaps through the hierarchy. Minor. Edric remains steady. He raises the anchor breaker hook. I feel something strange through the soul link. Not my order, his intent. A memory. The western ramp. The conscripts crushed beneath corpse giants. Brannock shouting that worthless men should die usefully. Edric was one of them. The phantom looks toward Brannock for half a second. Then back at the enemy commander. No, not now. Good. He understands priority. Maybe more than I want him to. Edric. His helmet turns toward me. Finish it. He moves. No flourish. No hesitation. He hooks the commander's tower shield aside. Steps beneath the 6 arms. Then drives the spectral point directly through the vertical red slit in its helmet. The 6-armed commander goes still. Black-red soul residue detonates outward. Stage 4. Harvest. This time, I do not let Edric absorb everything. Reserve 30. Distribute remainder to officers. The hidden chain reacts. Soul residue disappears beneath the aqueduct. To the officers waiting underground, Salvik cannot see that. Brannock cannot see that. The visible portion flows into Edric. His armor rebuilds. 48%. 59. 66. The rest vanishes into the command network. Far below, I feel 3 secondary officers strengthen simultaneously. One crosses the expanded threshold, then another. Their bandwidth increases. 3 to 9, 9 to 27 on the strongest. The army beneath Blackwall just grows without a single new phantom appearing here. Exactly as intended. The barrier flickers, then collapses. Salvik's registry teams rush into the ravine. He ignores the wounded, ignores Brannock, ignores the dead commander. He comes straight to me. What did you call that? I know what he means. The adaptive weapon. Doctrine imprint. He repeats it. Doctrine. Good. Now the name exists officially. He stares at Edric. That is not a standard necromancer skill, I noticed. You created it? I gave an order. His eyes shine. Not admiration. Possession. Research hunger. Excellent. The registry now has something specific to chase. I want that. Salvik turns to his scribes. Record the manifestation as provisional anomalous skill behavior. Weapon morphology responds to tactical intent. Perfect. Not hierarchy. Not delegation. Not recursive command. Weapon morphology. The decoy is alive. Brannock walks toward me covered in blood. His arrogance has returned because he survived. You almost got us killed. I look at the ravine. You brought us here. His face hardens. Salvik hears. He turns. This location came from House Veld intelligence. Silence. Brannock looks toward the broken runes. Then at the buried commander. For the first time, doubt enters his face. Not about me, About the mission. Good. The bait now has another layer. Someone fed Hausfeld a tempting target. Hausfeld took it. The target was trapped. Brannock will want someone to blame. Odrin will want the intelligence source found. Salvik will want more controlled tests. And all three will focus on the obvious anomaly I gave them. Doctrine imprint. Meanwhile, below Blackwall, my actual hierarchy is growing. I look at the dead commander. Its armor bears a symbol beneath the broken chest plate. A red vertical eye surrounded by 3 chains. I memorize it. Not because I know what it means, because I do not. The distant command signal returns for 1 second, much stronger than before. Something on the other end felt this commander die. Then the signal cuts. No anger, no panic, just withdrawal. Professional. I like this enemy more than Brannock already. By the time we return to Blackwall, the story reaches the gate before we do. Apparently, I killed 200 revenants alone. Wrong. Apparently, my phantom transformed into a giant armored knight. Also wrong. Apparently, Magister Salvek personally declared me B rank. Very wrong. The guards still stare when I pass. One straightens. Another moves aside without being asked. Tiny changes. But clear. Yesterday, Corvin Hale was disposable. Today, soldiers make room. Brannock notices every one of them. His face becomes more rigid with each step. Excellent. Rumor is doing work I do not have to. Edric walks beside me. His armor restored. His hook spear rests across one shoulder. A wounded Veld soldier stumbles near the gate. Edric catches him. Again, no order. The soldier freezes, then mutters, "Thanks." Edric releases him. Brannock sees it. "Stop making that thing act human." I look at Edric. Then at Brannock. I didn't. For the first time today, Brannock has no answer. That interests me more than the rumor, because somewhere beneath the armor, Edric is becoming something the system never explained. And somewhere beneath Blackwall, 37 hidden phantoms are now waiting inside a command structure no living officer knows exists. 37, still insignificant, but the architecture works. The decoy works, the enemy has revealed a symbol, and Hausfeld has just volunteered to help me find whoever laid the ravine trap. I enter the fortress with Edric at my side. Behind us, soldiers whisper about the mysterious armored phantom. Ahead of us, Marshal Odrin is already summoning Brannock to explain why Hausfeld intelligence nearly destroyed a registry operation. I do not need to create distrust, only feed it, quietly. Precisely, one believable order at a time. By midnight, Hausfeld has arrested 6 people for the ravine ambush. None of them did it. That tells me everything I need to know about the investigation. I stand beneath Blackwall in the old cistern while 3 phantom officers wait in front of me. Edric stands behind them. 72% stability. 27 direct bandwidth. Doctrine imprint reinforced. Retained identity increasing. Still officially an F rank lesser phantom. The 3 subordinate officers are more interesting tonight. Shield Captain, 43% stability, 9 subordinate slots. Spear Captain, 41, 9 slots. Scout Captain, 38, 3 slots. 37 phantoms currently active. 1,312 marked anchors outside the walls. And tomorrow night, the priests begin burning them. I look at the formation. Not enough. Edric tilts his helmet. I point toward the cistern wall. A map is scratched into the stone. Not beautiful. Useful. Blackwall above. Old tunnels beneath. Eastern storage vaults. Collapsed western burial passages. The ravine aqueduct. And one newly discovered route marked with a line beneath Hausveld's private armory. That route matters most. My scouts found it this evening. Hausveld moved the missing soul steel chests underground. 8. Exactly as expected. I do not need all 8. Yet, I need one. One chest gives me enough conductor material to test permanent armor stabilization. If that works, my phantoms stop being fragile ghosts and start becoming something much worse. But stealing a chest now would expose the entire underground network. So I do not steal it. I prepare to let Brannock give it to me. That is cleaner. I turn toward the scout captain. Report. The phantom raises one hand. 3 subordinate scouts step forward. Body language only. First, scout points east. Second points down. Third holds both hands apart. Large chamber. I nod. Guard count? The scout captain raises 4 fingers. Then 2. 6. Rotation, 1 finger, pause. 3. Roughly 1 guard change every 3 hours. Good. Entrances, 2 fingers. Better. The second entrance gives me options. I dismiss the scouts, not because I need the mana, because I need corpse anchors moved before dawn. The next phase cannot rely on phantoms appearing from random bodies scattered across the battlefield. Too visible. I need an underground reserve, an army no one can count. That means physical logistics, corpses, an absurdly mundane problem. I almost laugh. Apparently, death magic still needs transport officers. I assign it. Shield captain. Recovery teams. The officer turns. 6 phantoms split into pairs. Use the southern drainage exit. Retrieve only marked enemy anchors. No human blackwall dead. Important. If soldiers start disappearing from cremation rows, people notice. Enemy revenants are different. Their bodies are already scheduled for destruction. Missing a few dozen barely matters, especially during chaos. Maximum 20 per route. The shield captain acknowledges. Hide them in Vault 3. The old fortress has 6 collapsed ammunition rooms. Vault 3 is the driest. Now it becomes a corpse depot. Ugly. Practical. I turn toward the spear captain. Escort. 3 phantoms attach themselves to the recovery teams. No independent orders needed. Doctrine handles it. Finally, I point toward the scout captain. Surface watch. 3 phantoms leave through separate passages. The operation begins. I do not accompany them. That is the point. For the first time, my army performs a logistical mission without my physical presence. I sit on a broken stone block and wait. 10 minutes, 20, 30. The command network pulses faintly. No combat, no alarm. At 42 minutes, the first recovery team returns. 2 phantoms drag a revenant corpse through the tunnel. Then another. Then 5. The bodies disappear into Vault 3. The second team returns with 9. Third with 8. 22 anchors recovered. No witnesses. No direct commands. I feel something cold and satisfying settle into place. This is no longer summoning. This is infrastructure. I spend the next 4 hours expanding it. Recovery routes. Storage rooms. Signal points. Fallback zones. No phantom receives complicated orders unless its officer can carry them. No officer receives a mission without a retreat rule. No unit leaves command range without doctrine. The old fortress slowly becomes a military installation. By dawn, 68 enemy corpses lie hidden beneath Blackwall. Not impressive by army standards. Massive by secret necromancer standards. I raise none of them. Yet, mana is still the bottleneck. Soul residue is still the bottleneck. Officer stability is still the bottleneck. I need a way to increase all 3 without exposing myself. The answer arrives during breakfast. Brannock storms into the lower barracks. Everyone out. The recruits scramble. I keep eating. He walks straight toward me. Hail. I swallow. Lieutenant. You're coming with me. Again? His jaw tightens. Now. I stand. Edric follows. Tomas watches us leave. His face says concern. I ignore it. Brannock leads me toward the eastern military yard. No registry staff this time. Good. No Marshal Odrin either. Better. Only Hausveld soldiers. 20. And 3 black wagons. Each wagon carries 1 soul steel chest. Interesting. Brannock stops beside them. You know what these are. Soul steel. Do you know what it does? Conducts spiritual energy. His eyes narrow. You've been asking questions. I have ears. He does not like that. He opens 1 chest. Silver-black ingots fill the interior. The resonance hits Edric immediately. His armor sharpens. Brannock notices. Exactly what he wanted. He smiles. We tested something after your ravine performance. Of course. We placed a soul steel rod near one of your battlefield residue sites. I say nothing. Your phantom reacted. Yes. You knew. I suspected. His smile fades slightly. He wanted to surprise me. Poor man. He closes the chest. My uncle wants stronger phantoms. There it is. How strong? As strong as possible. Dangerous wording. I keep my face neutral. And you expect me to do what? Infuse them. With soul steel? With controlled residue. He gestures toward the third wagon. A sealed iron cylinder is strapped beside the chest. Hostile soul residue. Stored. Concentrated. Enough to reinforce multiple summons. I can feel it from here. This is better than I expected. House Veld is about to provide fuel. Brannick steps closer. You will create armored phantoms for us. For House Veld, correct? Under your command? His expression shifts. Small, pleased. Eventually. I almost smile. There is the real plan. They want to separate the phantoms from me. Turn my class into a military production system. Create undead units. Transfer ownership. Profit. Predictable. Useful. I look at the wagons. What happens if it fails? You try again. And if the phantoms collapse? We have more residue. And if I collapse? Brannick shrugs. Then we learned something. There it is. Still disposable. Just more expensive now. Good. People are easiest to manipulate when they never actually change. Fine. He blinks. You agree? Why wouldn't I? Suspicion enters his face, because he expected resistance. Resistance would reassure him, so I give him greed instead. If stronger phantoms mean higher combat rank, I benefit too. Brannock studies me, then smiles. He understands ambition. He thinks he understands mine. Perfect. The test takes place in an abandoned training courtyard beneath the eastern wall. No registry, no ordinary soldiers. Only House Veld. Another mistake. They think secrecy protects them. It protects me more. Brannick orders the soul steel arranged in a circle. Wasteful. I say nothing. Then the iron cylinder opens. Black residue rolls across the floor like smoke. Then say, violent. Unstable. Edric's soul link tightens. So do mine. The amount could push him well beyond his current threshold. Or overload him. I do not know. Good. We test carefully. Brannick points at Edric. Do it. I look at him. Do what? Make him stronger. Incredible. Zero methodology. Zero understanding. Just apply fuel until weapon improves. House Veld deserves every disaster coming to it. I step into the soul steel circle. Edric follows. The residue gathers around him. I do not feed it directly. First, I test conductivity. Armor doctrine. Hold. Soul steel resonates. Edric's form stabilizes. His armor stops flickering entirely. Not just sharper. Stable. I move one ingot farther away. The left shoulder flickers. Return it. Solid again. Distance sensitivity. Expected. Then I take one small ingot and place it against Edric's chest. Not physically embedded. Conceptually linked. Retain. The ingot vibrates. Spectral metal grows around it. The soul steel disappears beneath the phantom breastplate. Brannick steps forward. What did you do? Testing. Can you recover it? I look at Edric. Release. The ingot drops to the ground. Good. Reversible. Now I know soul steel can function as an armor core, not merely proximity conductor. Core. That changes the logistics completely. I use a smaller fragment. Retain. Edric absorbs it into the left gauntlet. His entire arm becomes more solid. I tell him to punch the training wall. He does. Stone cracks. Every House Veld guard goes silent. Brannock's eyes widen. Mine narrow. Physical interaction improves massively. One fragment. One limb. So full armor would require more material. A lot more. But not an absurd amount. I look at the chest. Enough for dozens. Maybe hundreds if distributed efficiently. The title forming in my mind is no longer metaphorical. Phantom Armored Divisions. Possible. Not now. Eventually. Brannock regains his composure. Again. I reinforce Edric's chest. Then legs. Then spear. Each soul steel fragment anchors spectral form. Soul residue feeds density around the anchored structure. The result is brutal. Edric's stability rises. 72. 79. 85. His armor becomes almost opaque. The hooked spear looks forged rather than conjured. The system finally reacts. Primary Phantom Commander reaches high stability command threshold. Formation bandwidth increases from 27 to 81. Armor doctrine gains conductor anchoring compatibility. Officer promotion efficiency improved. 81. There, another triple. 9. 27. 81. If the pattern holds, no. Do not extrapolate without testing. But the architecture is becoming insane. Brannick does not see the system alert. He sees only the armor. Can you do this to the others? I let silence stretch. He leans forward. Well, possibly. His face lights up. I add the limitation. With enough soul steel, he glances at the chests. Hausfeld has exactly what I need. Good. And residue. He looks at the cylinder. Another resource they hoard. Better. And time. He folds his arms. How many? I choose carefully. Maybe 6. He looks disappointed. Exactly what I want. 6? Stable ones. Yesterday you had 18. Temporary. He remembers the explanation. He accepts it. 6 armored phantoms, then. I nod. Maybe. Do it. I raise 5 visible phantoms. Only 5. No hidden officers, no nested command structure, just 5 fresh anchors Brannock provided from executed prisoners. That detail tells me something about Hausfeld, too. They keep corpses ready. I attach the 5 beneath Edric. The system still counts 1 independent summon. Brannock does not know. I feed each phantom tiny soul steel fragments, minimal, enough to stabilize armor. Then I distribute residue. Their forms sharpen, simple plate, short weapons, uniform. Brannock stares. 6 armored phantoms stand in formation. 1 commander, 5 troops. He looks delighted. I look concerned. Deliberately. What's wrong? Residue consumption. Too high? Much. True, compared with weak summons. He frowns. Can we reduce it? Maybe with better corpse anchors. Also true. He thinks in supply terms now. Good. The bait becomes more believable when it includes costs. Brannock circles the formation. Can they obey me? There it is. The question I have been waiting for. I pretend to hesitate. I don't know. Test it. He steps in front of Edric. Phantom. Kneel. Edric does nothing. Brannock's face darkens. He looks at me. Order him to obey me. Dangerous. If I directly create transferable authority, I may introduce a real vulnerability. So I do something else. I command through the soul link. Edric. For the next 3 minutes, mirror Lieutenant Brannock's simple movement orders unless they conflict with mine. Edric's helmet inclines. Brannock smiles. Kneel. Edric kneels. The 5 phantoms kneel through hierarchy. Brannock's expression transforms. Not joy. Ownership. Exactly. Stand. They stand. Turn. They turn. Advance. They advance. He laughs. Actually laughs. Hausfeld guards exchange excited looks. I keep my face tense. Inside, I memorize every detail. Temporary delegated command works, but only because I define the boundaries. 3 minutes. Simple movement. Override remains mine. Excellent. Brannock points toward a stone target. Destroy it. Edric does nothing. The order exceeds the allowed category. Brannock's smile vanishes. Destroy it. Nothing. I deliberately look confused. Then I say, maybe direct combat commands require stronger synchronization. He accepts that because he wants the system to become transferable. Desire is such a useful blindfold. Brannock nods. Then we train it. There. The trap begins. Not my physical trap. My administrative one. Hausfeld now believes the path to owning my phantom army is increased soul steel investment, more residue, better corpse anchors, and repeated delegated command trials. Every one of those things strengthens me. Every one of those things encourages them to give me resources. Every one of those things gives them a reason to hide the project from the registry. Perfect. I add the final piece. If Magister Salvek learns this works, the registry may claim jurisdiction. Brannock stops. Exactly. He looks toward his guards, then at the chests, then at me. Salvek hears nothing. I lower my voice. Of course. Now he thinks I am complicit. Better. A conspiracy needs mutual guilt, even fake guilt. Brannock orders the test materials moved underground, not back to the official armory, to Hausfeld's hidden vault, the same vault my scouts already mapped. He unknowingly confirms the route. By evening, I am officially assigned to a classified Hausfeld spectral weapons program. No paperwork leaves the Eastern Command Office. No registry notice. No public reassignment. Outwardly, I remain an F rank recovery conscript. Privately, House Veld begins delivering corpse anchors, hostile soul residue, and soul steel directly into the underground level where my secret army already lives. I could not design better supply lines myself. That night, the first real expansion begins. I wait until Brannick leaves. His guards lock the classified chamber. Then I move through the old wall behind it. The scouts discovered a crack, leading directly into the cistern network. One wall. That is all that separates House Veld's project from mine. I do not steal the chest. I steal fragments. 1 ingot becomes 10 cores. 10 cores stabilize 10 officers. Those officers receive residue. Their bandwidth increases. 3, 9, 27. I create command nodes first. Always officers before soldiers. By midnight, Edric commands 7 direct captains. Shield captain, spear captain, scout captain, 2 heavy infantry captains, 1 recovery captain, 1 reserve captain. Each controls subordinate groups, some 3, some 9. The strongest 27. The active phantom count passes 100, 114, then 138. Mana drops. I stop, rest, recover, continue. 172. 211. Not all armored. Only officers receive soul steel cores. Ordinary troops use doctrine-shaped spectral armor. Cheaper, weaker, enough. I begin dividing the structure. First cohort, second cohort, third. No ceremonial names, no dramatic titles. Functions first. Shield line. Spear assault. Recovery. Reconnaissance. Reserve. I establish the first underground territorial zones. Vault 3 becomes corpse storage. Vault 2 becomes soul residue distribution. Cistern becomes command center. Eastern drainage becomes deployment route. Ravine aqueduct becomes forward observation line. The forgotten western burial tunnel becomes fallback position. This is my empire. Not a throne. Not a castle. A logistics network beneath people who think I belong to them. By the third night, active strength reaches 306. 14 officers. 38 armored elites. 254 lesser phantoms. The number matters less than the structure. For the first time, I can split the force into independent operating groups. 1 patrols, 1 retrieves anchors, 1 trains, 1 guards. 1 remains dismissed as reserve. House Veld keeps supplying the classified project. Brannick proudly reports that his phantom program is improving. He even begins moving more soul steel underground, exactly as planned. Then something happens I did not order. I enter Vault 3 and find Edric standing beside a newly raised phantom. The phantom wears old Blackwall scout armor. Not enemy armor, human. I stop. I prohibited Blackwall dead. Edric does not move. The recovery captain stands nearby. Its helmet lowers slightly. Interesting. A mistake or a choice? I approach the corpse anchor, fresh enough, throat wound. I recognize the face. The scout Salvik used during my command capacity test. The dead man from the command hall. Someone discarded his body into the lower burial channels. Edric retrieved him. Why? I touch the soul link. A faint imprint reaches me. Not words. Direction. Recognition. The scout knew the lower tunnels. Useful memory. Edric selected him based on capability. Without an order, not sentiment, judgment. I stare at Edric. You chose an officer candidate. His helmet inclines. Once. That is new. Very new. My command hierarchy is beginning to evaluate material independently. That could multiply growth. It could also create deviation. I do not punish it. I set a rule. Blackwall dead may be raised only if abandoned, unclaimed, and tactically exceptional. Edric inclines his helmet again. Never civilians. No reaction. I step closer. Never. This time, he places 1 fist against his chest. Understood. Good. An army requires rules because scale amplifies mistakes. By the end of the 4th night, the underground force reaches 483 active phantoms, 61 armored, 22 officer grade, 8 operational units, enough to dominate the old tunnels completely, not enough for open war. But the fortress above is already reacting to something else. Rumors. Soldiers report spectral movement along collapsed corridors. Supply clerks complain enemy corpses vanish from cremation queues. Night guards here marching under the eastern wall. No one connects it to me. Instead, they invent a name. The Buried Legion. I hear two soldiers discussing it during breakfast. They say the old fortress woke up. No, it's ghosts from the siege. My cousin saw armored figures beneath the drainage gate. Your cousin drinks lamp oil. Tomas looks at me from across the table. I keep eating. He knows something. Not everything. Enough to be dangerous. He says nothing. Good. Then Brannock enters. He is smiling. That means trouble. Good news, Hale. I set down my cup. I doubt that. He ignores the comment. My uncle approved expansion. Of course he did. How much? Brannock drops a ledger onto the table. 100 phantoms. I stare at him. He mistakes my silence for shock. House Veld wants a full spectral company. 100 visible. Registered to their secret project. Built with their materials. Operated through delegated command. Exactly the investment I need them to make. The bait is no longer merely believed. They are budgeting around it. Brannock leans closer. And once the company works, we scale to 1,000. There. Deep commitment. The trap is advancing exactly on schedule. I look at the ledger, then at Edric. Then toward the stone floor beneath us, where nearly 500 phantoms already wait in darkness. Brannock thinks 1,000 is ambitious. I think 1,000 is a staffing problem. I close the ledger. Then we'll need more soul steel. He smiles. Already ordered. Perfect. The soul steel arrives 3 days later. Not 10 ingots. Not 50. 3 full wagons. Brannock personally escorts them through the eastern gate with enough guards to defend a minor treasury. He looks absurdly pleased. I understand why. House Veld thinks this shipment belongs to them. That makes 2 of us. I stand beside the classified training hall while workers unload black iron crates. Each crate carries the Veld seal. Each contains enough soul steel to reinforce dozens of phantom officers. Marshal Odrin watches from the upper gallery. Magister Salvik is nowhere in sight. Perfect. House Veld has now invested deeply enough that secrecy matters more than caution. Exactly what I wanted. Brannock walks toward me. 100. I look at him. What? Today. He gestures toward the training hall. You make 100 armored phantoms today. I almost laugh. The hidden force beneath Blackwall passed 700 last night. But visible growth must remain slow. Believable. Expensive. Difficult. If I suddenly produce 100 perfect troops, House Veld becomes suspicious. So I give them problems. Impossible. Brannock's smile disappears. You said scaling was possible. It is. Then do it. I said possible, not free. His jaw tightens. Explain. I point toward the soul steel crates. Enough conductor material. Then toward the sealed residue cylinders. Not enough stable soul mass. Brannock glances at them. Those cylinders contain high-grade residue. Mixed residue. So incompatible soul fragments create command instability. That is partly true. Mostly useful. He looks annoyed. How many? I pretend to calculate. 40 stable. His face reddens. We ordered enough for 100. You ordered metal. I shrug. Metal does not become soldiers by being expensive. Marshal Odrin calls down from the gallery. How much more residue? I look up. Depends on corpse quality. He frowns. There it is. Another dependency. Another reason to keep feeding my underground infrastructure. Use battlefield anchors, he says. Most were burned. Brannock looks at me sharply. He knows recovery teams lost track of many enemy bodies. Good. Let suspicion exist, just not enough to point correctly. Odrin taps the railing. Then we acquire more. From his tone, that means raids. Excellent. House Veld will now capture resources for me. I lower my head. Then 40 today. Brannock mutters something unpleasant. I ignore it. The demonstration begins. I raise Edric. Then 6 visible officers. Then 33 subordinate phantoms. 40 total. Every unit is drawn from corpse anchors stored inside House Veld's classified chamber. No hidden hierarchy exposed. No underground officers used. Clean separation. Brannock watches every movement. So does Odrin. I reinforce the 6 officers first. Soul Steel Cores. Basic Armor Doctrine. Formation Specialization. 1 Shield Officer. 2 Spear Officers. 1 Command Relay. 2 Heavy Infantry. The remaining 33 receive lighter spectral armor. uniform enough to impress, weak enough to remain believable. When they form 4 ranks across the training floor, Hausfeld soldiers stop whispering. Brannick walks in front of them. Temporary authority. I give Edric the boundary. Movement only. Formation only. No independent target selection. No lethal orders. Brannick does not know the exact limitation. He simply knows he can command. Advance. 40 armored phantoms move. Their boots do not strike the stone. Still too spectral. But their formation holds. Turn. They pivot. The third row lags deliberately. I allow it. Brannick scowls. Again, they turn better. He smiles. Good. Training theater. Odrin folds his arms. How long until 100? I look at the formation. 5 days. Brannick snaps around. 5? Unless you prefer unstable troops. Odrin answers before him. 5. Good. He values the product. Brannick values control. That difference will matter later. The test continues for 2 hours. I deliberately show fatigue. Mana drain. Command, stress. Officer instability. Nothing catastrophic. Just enough friction to make the system feel expensive. By the end, Brannock believes 100 phantoms will require a massive logistical chain. He is correct. He simply does not realize the logistical chain already exists beneath his feet. After the demonstration, Odrin summons me privately. Brannock comes too. That is expected. The unexpected person is already waiting. Magister Salvek. Interesting. He stands beside the tactical table with a sealed registry dossier. Brannick stops walking. His expression gives away too much. He did not know Salvek was here. Good, a crack. Small. Useful. Odrin does not greet his nephew. He gestures toward the dossier. Magister Wren has concerns. Salvek looks at me. Several. I remain standing. What kind? Corpse accounting. Ah. There it is. He opens the dossier. Since the siege, 412 enemy bodies assigned for cremation have disappeared from official recovery records. Brannick glances at Odrin. Not me. Interesting. Salvek continues. 31 Blackwall military corpses also lack final disposition signatures. That number bothers me. I authorized abandoned military anchors only. 31 is too high. My recovery teams have taken 9. That means 22 disappeared elsewhere. Someone else is harvesting bodies. I keep my face neutral. Salvek taps the dossier. Hausfeld operates a classified spectral program. Brannock speaks immediately. Authorized by Fortress Command, not by the registry. Odrin's voice goes cold. Blackwall is under military emergency, and summoning research remains under registry jurisdiction. There it is. Institutional conflict. Neither side trusts the other. Good. Salvek looks at me. How many corpses has your program consumed? I answer truthfully enough. 40 today, before today. Several test anchors, how many? I pause. Less than 20. Brannick looks at me. He knows that is approximately correct for the visible project. Salvek watches both of us. Then your program does not explain 400 missing enemy corpses. Correct. Not publicly. He closes the dossier. Something else is operating beneath Blackwall. Silence. I feel Edric through the soul link. Far below, standing inside the cistern, not summoned, not visible, waiting. I keep breathing evenly. Odrin looks at Salvek. What are you suggesting? Unauthorized necromancy. Brannick laughs. Too quickly. Inside the fortress? Salvek does not blink. We already know spectral entities are moving through old tunnels. The buried legion rumor. Now official. Interesting. Odrin looks at me. Could your phantoms act without your knowledge? Dangerous question. I answer carefully. Without direct supervision? Yes. Brannick turns. What? I look at him. Standing orders. He does not like learning this in front of Salvek. Excellent. Salvek leans forward. How far? Unknown. True. How long? Unknown. Also true at scale. Could they retrieve corpses? With the right doctrine. Brannock's face hardens. Odrin's eyes narrow. Salvek says nothing for 3 seconds. Then did you order them to? No. Direct lie. Necessary. The room remains quiet. Salvek watches me. Not accusing. Measuring. I let him. Then something unexpected happens. Brannock speaks. He's telling the truth. I look at him. That is interesting. Salvik does too. Brannick folds his arms. I supervise his project. Not really. He doesn't control enough phantoms to move 400 corpses. Correct. Visible evidence supports him. More importantly, Brannock now needs my innocence. If I am operating a secret independent army, then his entire delegated command project becomes meaningless. His investment depends on believing he controls the growth. So he defends the lie for me. Perfect. Salvik looks at Odrin. Then we have a second necromancer. Maybe. That possibility is suddenly more important than my deception. Because of the 22 missing Blackwall bodies. Someone else may actually be doing this. I do not like overlap. Unknown operators complicate logistics. Odrin asks, hostile? Salvik opens another page. 3 patrols vanished near the western burial tunnels. That is worse. My units never attack Blackwall patrols unless attacked first, and I receive no command shock from that sector. So not mine. Interesting. The hidden army beneath Blackwall is no longer the only hidden thing. For the first time since I began building underground, the battlefield beneath my feet changes without my permission. Good. Annoying. Useful. Odrin points at me. Hail. I wait. You know the tunnels better than most of my engineers now. Probably. You will accompany a search team. Brannock objects immediately. No. Everyone looks at him, too fast again. Odrin's eyes narrow. Brannock adjusts. The spectral company is unfinished. Salvek answers. Then this is an excellent field trial. Ah. So that is his goal. He wants to observe my units under uncontrolled conditions. Brannock knows it. He hates it. The alliance cracks a little wider. I suppress any reaction. Odrin decides. 20 phantoms. 10 soldiers. Lieutenant Brannock commands the expedition. Brannock looks satisfied again. He thinks command title means control. Salvek adds, I am coming. His satisfaction disappears. Wonderful. The expedition enters the western burial tunnels that evening. I bring 20 visible phantoms. Edric, 3 officers. 16 troops. Not one hidden unit joins us. Instead, I order the underground army to withdraw 3 corridors ahead. No contact. No sightings. No accidents. The western tunnels belong to the unknown variable until I understand it. Brannock walks at the front with 10 Veld guards. Salvik stays near me. He carries 2 detection crystals. Both glow faintly. Residual necromancy everywhere, he says. Old fortress. No. He raises 1 crystal. Recent. Of course. My army has operated here. But the signature is layered. Mine and something else. I can feel the difference now. My command imprint is cold. Structured. Geometric. This residue feels wet. Loose. Hungry. Not phantom doctrine. Something cruder. The tunnel narrows. Bones line the walls. Human burial niches. Old soldiers. Hundreds. Excellent anchors. I have deliberately avoided using them. Too many historical remains. Too visible if disturbed. Someone else has not been so careful. Empty niches appear ahead. 1. Then 5. Then 20. Salvik stops. Fresh extraction. Brannock looks around. How fresh? Days. I crouch. Scratches on stone. Dragged bones. No boot prints. Whatever moved them did not walk normally. Then Edric stops. No command. His spear angles toward the ceiling. I follow his gaze. Nothing. Then dust falls. Move. The word leaves my mouth quietly. Salvek reacts immediately. Brannock does not. A skeletal mass drops from above. Not one creature. Dozens of human rib cages fused into a spider-like body. Arms instead of legs. Skulls embedded along the abdomen. Every skull whispers at once. One Veldguard screams. The creature lands on him. Bone limbs tear through armor. Stage 1 arrives without permission. Good. The rest of the guards attack. Swords strike bone. Too shallow. The creature spins. 3 men are thrown into the wall. My visible phantoms engage. 2 are smashed apart immediately. Command shock travels upward. Edric absorbs it. Brannock shouts, "Kill it!" I ignore him. The creature moves strangely. Not military. No rhythm. No command relay. Pure predation. It attacks whoever carries the strongest soul signature. First Salvik. Then Edric. Then me. Interesting. Soul detection. I watch the embedded skulls. Only some whisper before each movement. 3 skulls near the center. Control cluster. Stage 2. Read. Shield pair. Left. 2 phantoms absorb a strike. 1 collapses. Edric shifts. I point toward the central skull cluster. Doctrine imprint anchor breaker. His hook spear reforms. Salvik sees it. Again. Good. The creature lunges. Edric catches 1 bone arm. The remaining phantoms spread. Not random. Formation web. The creature spins. 3 phantoms vanish. Feedback hits. Edric drops to 1 knee. Brannock smiles grimly. He still enjoys my losses. Incredible consistency. Then the creature opens its abdomen. Black mist pours outward. Every corpse niche around us begins shaking. Ah, there is the real threat. Not the beast. The network. Old bones start moving inside the walls. Hundreds. Salvek goes pale. Mass awakening. No. Mass contamination. Different mechanism. The creature is not commanding individual undead. It is broadcasting corruption. Crude. Fast. Unstable. Now I understand the missing corpses. This thing drags anchors together. Fuses them. Consumes identity. Builds larger bodies. The opposite of my system. I preserve hierarchy. It destroys it. Interesting. I hate it already. Bones erupt from the walls. Veld soldiers panic. Brannock backs toward the exit. Retreat. Wrong. If we retreat now, the corruption spreads into the tunnel network. My hidden infrastructure is beyond that. Unacceptable. I block his path. He stares. Move. No. His sword comes halfway out. Salvik shouts. He's right. Brannock turns. The corruption will follow us. Exactly. For once, Salvek is useful. I point toward the fused creature. That is the source. Brannock looks at the hundreds of moving skeletons. And? We kill it here. You have 20 phantoms. 14. He stares at me. I almost smile. Still enough. Stage 3. He send Adric forward. Not at the monster. At the wall. He hooks a burial slab. Rips it down. Stone collapses across one side of the tunnel. Half the awakening skeletons are buried. The creature turns toward the noise. Good. Second officer. Right collapse. Another phantom unit tears at a support pillar. Brannock finally understands. You're bringing the tunnel down. Part of it. On us? Only if you stand badly. He curses. I ignore him. The fused creature charges Edric. Exactly where I want it. Between 2 weakened supports. I signal. Both officers pull. Stone columns crack. The ceiling drops. The creature tries to retreat. Too large. Too slow. Edric drives the anchor breaker hook into the central skull cluster. The monster screams through dozens of mouths. I feel the corruption recoil. Hold. Edric locks the hook. His armor cracks. Stability falls. 68. 60. 52. The creature thrashes. I do not release. Now. The 2 officers break the final supports. The ceiling collapses. Tons of stone crush the fused body. Edric disappears beneath it too. Command shock hits me like a hammer. I drop to 1 knee. Salvik grabs my shoulder. Brannock watches. For half a second, I cannot feel Edric. Then 1 pulse. Weak. Alive. 41% stability. Good. The creature is not. Black corruption leaks from beneath the rubble, not soul residue. Wrong texture. Wrong response. My class rejects it. Useful distinction. Salvik crouches beside the mist. Do not touch that. I was not planning to. The remaining skeletons collapse. No source. No broadcast. Done. Stage 4 produces almost nothing. No harvest. No reinforcement. A battle without profit. Disgusting. We dig Edric out. His armor is shattered. Hook spear broken. He rises anyway. Brannock stares at him. Then at me. Something changes in his expression. Not fear, not arrogance, calculation mixed with unease. He saw Edric follow an order that nearly destroyed him. He also saw the phantom survive. Salvek notices something else. He kneels beside the fused corpse remains. Inside the broken skull cluster is a black metal shard. Not soul steel. Different, wet-looking, veined. He lifts it with forceps. A symbol is carved into the surface. A vertical red eye. 3 chains. The same symbol from the ravine commander. I go still. So the enemy above and the corruption below are connected. Not identical methods. Same organization. Interesting. Very interesting. Salvik looks at the symbol. I've seen this before. Brannock turns. Where? Salvik does not answer immediately. That hesitation matters. Registry archive. Odrin's investigation just became political. Good. Then the ceiling behind us groans. Everyone looks back. A second collapse seals the route we entered, not caused by us. Too far away. Too precise. The torches flicker, and from somewhere deeper in the western tunnels, a horn sounds. One long note. Too short. Blackwall withdrawal signal, the correct one. Every soldier freezes. Brannock whispers. Who is down here? I do not answer. Because for the first time, I genuinely do not know, and that means the plan changes. Immediately. The correct Blackwall withdrawal signal echoes through a tunnel no Blackwall soldier should be using. One long note. Too short. Then silence. Brannock draws his sword. For once, I do not mock him. Someone below us knows the fortress code. That matters. Salvik turns toward the sealed passage behind us. The archive fragment. I look at the black metal shard in his forceps. Vertical red eye. 3 chains. Same symbol as the ravine commander. Same organization, different method. Above ground, disciplined revenant formations. Below ground, fused corpse constructs. 1 command structure. At least 2 operational doctrines. Interesting. The horn sounds again. Closer. 1 long. 2 short. Edric steps in front of me. No order. His shattered armor still covers half his body. 41% stability. Barely combat ready. Brannock notices. Can that thing still fight? Edric can stand. That wasn't my question. It was the answer you're getting. Salvik ignores us. He holds 1 detection crystal toward the eastern wall. Nothing. Then west. The crystal flashes red. Movement. How many? I ask. Unknown. Useful. He glares. I point at the collapsed ceiling. We don't have the luxury of pretending uncertainty is information. Brannock snarls. Then what do you suggest? I study the tunnel. Narrow passage ahead. Old burial niches. Broken support columns. 1 drainage channel running along the left side. The horn comes from deeper west. Whoever is down there expects us to follow, so I do not. Back 3 chambers. Brannock stares. You just said the exit is blocked, not retreat, reposition. Why? Because this corridor is a funnel. He looks around. Which is good. For whoever is waiting at the other end. That shuts him up. I turn toward the surviving phantoms. 13 remain besides Edric. 3 damaged. 2 officer grade. Enough. Shield officer, rear chamber. The phantom moves. Spear officer, left drainage. Brannock grabs my arm. Stop. I look down at his hand. He releases it. Again, progress. We are not under your command. Then give a better order. His mouth opens. Nothing comes out. Salvik speaks. Do what he says. Brannock turns. You don't command my men either. No, but I understand ambush geometry. So does Brannock. He hates that. But survival wins. Barely. We move back 2 chambers. I choose the 3rd. Wider room. Collapsed statue in the center. 2 side passages. 1 blocked, 1 narrow. Better. I place the Veld soldiers behind the statue. Salvik stays near the rear wall. Brannock refuses cover. Naturally. He stands where everyone can see him. I assign the remaining phantoms. Not a full formation. Fragments. Enough. Then I dismiss Edric. Brannock snaps toward me. What are you doing? Saving stability. He is your strongest summon. Exactly. Edric dissolves. My command link retains him. 41%. No need to lose more while we wait. The horn comes again. Closer. Then footsteps. Not undead dragging themselves. Boots. Measured. Human rhythm. 12 paces apart. Formation spacing. I count. 6. Maybe 8. No. More. The echoes overlap. At least 20. Brannock hears it too. He raises his sword. Blackwall patrol? No. How do you know? Blackwall soldiers walk louder. He looks offended on behalf of the army. Fair. Then the first figure enters the chamber. Human, at least physically. Blackwall Scout uniform, helmet missing, face pale, throat cut. I recognize him. One of the patrolmen reported missing yesterday. Dead, yet walking. His eyes are open. No corpse fire, no visible necromancy. He raises one hand. Withdrawal route secure. His voice is wrong, too flat. Brannock goes rigid. Soldier, identify yourself. The dead scout looks at him. Withdrawal route secure. Same tone. Same words. A second figure enters, then another. Missing patrolman. All dead. All moving. Not phantoms. Not revenant. Bodies. Marionette. Interesting. Salvik whispers, soul displacement. That term means something to him. I file it away. The first corpse takes another step. I raise my hand. Stop. It does. Not because of me, because whoever controls it wants us to think it obeyed. That is worse. The corpse smiles. Badly. Muscles pulling after death. Corvin Hale. Everyone looks at me. There it is. They know my name. Brannock looks genuinely alarmed. I am more interested than afraid. Who are you? The corpse's head tilts. An F Rank Necromancer asking questions. It laughs once. The sound comes from 3 corpses at the same time. Distributed voice. Nice trick. Not magical enough to impress me. Useful enough to respect. You know my class. We know Blackwall's registry. Salvik's face changes. Small. There. Someone has access. Maybe not externally. Maybe inside. The corpse continues. We know Marshal Odrin moved Soulsteel off ledger. Brannock's sword lowers a fraction. We know Magister Wren concealed Archive 9. Salvik goes still. That matters even more. Archive 9. Noted. We know the buried legion grows beneath this fortress. Silence. My pulse does not change. Brannock looks at me. Salvik looks at me. Wonderful. The corpse smiles wider. There it is. The first direct pressure against the trap. Someone knows enough to be dangerous. Not everything. But enough. Brannock points his sword at me. What buried legion? I keep looking at the corpse. Rumor. The corpse laughs through 6 mouths. 483. That number is old. 3 nights old. Important. They have observation. But delayed observation. They do not know the current count. Good. They know scale. Bad. Salvik steps closer. Who are you? The dead scout looks at him. Someone who knows what the registry erased. Archive connection confirmed. Then the corpse looks back at me. Great, General. That changes the room. Completely. No one here should know that. Not Corvin's life. My previous one. Brannock stares. Salvik forgets to breathe. I feel Edric's link tighten inside dismissal. Even he reacts. The corpse continues. You wore a crown of iron leaves at Rahl. My hand goes cold. That detail belongs to another world. Another life. No record here. No surviving witness. No reason this thing should know. The smile on the dead scout's face becomes almost natural. Almost. You died with an arrow through your throat. I say nothing. The room becomes too quiet. Brannock whispers. What is it talking about? I ignore him. The corpse takes 1 step forward. Do you want to know why you woke in Corvin Hale? There it is. A useful question. Also bait. I have spent my life ordering men not to charge toward bait because it contains something they want. Apparently, death does not make temptation less annoying. I answer anyway. Yes. The corpse lifts one hand. Come west. No. It pauses. Good. That answer was not expected. You want answers? I do. Then come. No. The dead faces twitch. I continue. You know my name. My previous death. My hidden numbers. I glance at the corpses. So if you wanted to kill me, you would not need an invitation. Silence. You want me somewhere specific. The first corpse's smile disappears. Better. That means the location matters more than the conversation. I point toward the passage behind them, which means I should absolutely not go there. Brannock looks at me. For once, he is almost impressed. Salvik is not listening to either of us. His eyes remain on the corpses. Archive 9. The dead scout looks toward him. Ask your predecessor why the Red Chain Doctrine was sealed. Salvik goes pale. There. Real fear. Not battlefield fear. Institutional fear. Knowledge fear. Useful. Then every corpse turns toward Brannock. Ask your uncle why he bought command seals from us. Brannock freezes. Ah, now we are getting somewhere. His face changes. Too quickly. He knows something. Not enough, but something. The room fractures without a single sword strike. Brannock looks at Salvik. Salvik looks at him. Both look at me. Exactly what our unknown enemy wants. Distrust. Good strategy. Too obvious. I clap once. Everyone turns toward me. Enough. The corpses turn too. You have information, I say. You have leverage. You have a location. I raise one finger. But you made one mistake. The dead scout tilts its head. You told everyone different secrets at the same time. Brannock frowns. Salvik's eyes narrow. I continue. Now none of us trust the others. The corpse smiles again. Exactly, which means you expect us to split. Silence. There. That is the next trap. I look toward the side passages. Or kill each other. Still silence. Good. I turn toward Brannock. Do not move. He bristles. I turn toward Salvik. Detection crystal. Floor. He understands instantly. He lowers the crystal. Red light spreads across the stone. Nothing. Then lines. Thin. Black. Running beneath our feet. A rune network. Already active. Triggered by hostility? Movement? Blood? Unknown. The corpses were never the ambush. We are standing inside it. Again. Honestly, these people are repetitive. Competent. But repetitive. I point. Nobody attacks. Brannock clenches his jaw. Those things want you angry. He looks at the dead scouts. That lands. Salvik studies the rune lines. They converge beneath the central statue. I look at the broken statue. Of course. Can you disable it? Maybe. That means no. His mouth tightens. The first corpse begins stepping backward. We will wait west. I let it. Brannish does not. He lunges. Of course he does. I grab his shoulder. Too late. His sword cuts through the corpse's chest. The rune network ignites. Black-red light erupts from the floor. I shove Brannock sideways. The central statue explodes. Something beneath it opens. Not a pit. A mouth. A circular mass of fused jaws tears through the floor. Bone hooks shoot outward. One catches a Veld soldier. He disappears screaming. The corpse marionettes collapse instantly. They were only triggers. Wonderful. Stage 1. Forced. The jaw pit opens wider. Black tendrils lash across the chamber. 2 phantoms are hit. One disappears. Command shock. Minor. A second Veld soldier is dragged toward the center. I grab his belt. Brannock grabs my arm. Together we pull. For 1 second, we save him. Then the thing below bites through his legs. He screams. We lose him. Brannock goes white. I let go. No time. The rune lines feed the mouth. Not soul residue. Blood. Fresh blood. The more we fight inside the chamber, the stronger it gets. Good. That means we do not fight inside the chamber. Side passage. I point toward the narrow eastern route. Salvik moves first. Smart. The soldiers follow. Brannock starts toward them. Then the passage seals with bone growth. Too slow. Of course. I watch the mouth. Every tendril emerges from one of 8 rune nodes around the room. Distributed feeding points. Break nodes. Not creature. Stage 2. Reed. Edric. I recall him. He forms beside me. 40% stability after dismissal. Shattered armor. Still enough. Doctrine imprint anchor breaker. His hook reforms. We used it in the ravine. Used it against the fused construct. Now again. Foreshadowed. Refined. Reliable. Exactly what I need. I point toward the nearest rune node. Not the mouth. The anchors. Edric moves. A tendril strikes. He blocks with his broken shoulder. Armor tears away. 37%. He reaches the node. Hooks beneath the black metal plate. Pulls. The first anchor tears free. The mouth below screams. 1 tendril collapses. Good. Stage 3. All phantoms. Nodes only. The surviving visible units split. 4 nodes. 5. 1 phantom is destroyed. 6. The mouth thrashes. Bone jaws bite through the floor. Brannick is thrown down. Salvik loses 1 detection crystal. 7. The final node is beneath the western arch, protected by 3 tendrils. Edric charges. First strike hits his chest. Stability 31. Second hits his leg. 27. He falls. The hook slides across stone. I feel the link strain. Dangerously. If he collapses here, the visible command structure fractures. Worse. His identity may degrade. I run. No mana trick, no summon. Just me. 1 tendril lashes toward my chest. I duck. Another catches my injured arm. Pain explodes. I let it pull me. Toward the node. Closer. Closer. Brannick shouts my name. Not an insult this time. Interesting. I reach the wall. Grab the anchor plate with both hands. The tendril tightens. My shoulder almost tears free. Edric. He looks up. Now, he moves. 1 last burst. The hook catches the plate edge beside my hands. I brace my foot against the wall. He pulls. I pull. The anchor tears out. The entire rune network dies. The mouth collapses inward. Bone hooks go limp. Then everything below us caves into darkness. Stage 4. Nothing. Again, no soul residue, no harvest. Only black corruption evaporating. 2 battles, no profit. Whoever designed this doctrine understands one thing very well. Deny the necromancer fuel. That is specifically anti-me, or anti-necromancer in general. Either possibility is bad. I lie on the floor for 3 breaths, then sit up. My arm is bleeding again. Edric stands. Barely. 24% stability. His armor is almost gone. The hook remains. That matters. Skill form retained despite damage. Good. Salvik picks up the final anchor plate. Same black metal. Same red eye. Same 3 chains. Brannick stares at the collapsed pit. Then at me. He says nothing. That is new. I stand. Now we go west. Brannick looks at me like I have lost my mind. You refused 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago, they controlled the route. And now? Now they think we are frightened enough to leave. Salvik understands. You want to follow while they assume the trap worked. Yes. Brannock gestures at Edric. Your phantom is almost destroyed. Then I should avoid another fair fight. He looks at me. Do you ever fight fair? No. He almost smiles. Almost. That worries me more than his insults. We move west. Slowly. No horn. No corpses. No obvious traps. The passage descends beneath the oldest part of Blackwall. The air changes. Warmer. Dry. Then we reach a bronze door. Ancient. No fortress markings. No Veld seal. No registry crest. Only the vertical red eye surrounded by 3 chains. Salvik stops. Archive 9. Brannick turns. You knew this was here? No. Lie. Not complete. He knew the name, not the location. I touch the bronze door. Cold. No corruption. No soul steel resonance. Different system. A slot sits at the center, exactly the size of the black metal shard Salvik carries. He realizes it too. Brannock laughs once. Convenient, yes. Very. Too convenient. Someone wants the door opened. I step back. Do not insert it. Salvik looks at me. Then why bring us here? We didn't. He pauses. Good. He understands. This entire chain of events has been guided. Ravine ambush, missing corpses, Western patrols, correct withdrawal horn, personal secrets, archive key. Every piece pulls us deeper, too deliberate. Brannick looks toward the path behind us. What now? I study the bronze door, then Edric, then the black shard. The enemy wants curiosity. House Veld wants control. Salvik wants buried knowledge. I want information. 4 incentives. 1 door, bad equation, so I change it. We don't open it. Salvik's face hardens. Then what? We make them believe we did. Both men stare at me. I look at the black shard, then at the door, then at the network of old tunnels surrounding us. And for the first time since waking in Corvinhale's body, I see the shape of a trap large enough to catch someone who has been watching me from the beginning. I smile. Small. Cold. Now we give them an archive worth stealing. The best false archive is not filled with lies. It is filled with truths arranged in the wrong order. 3 hours after we leave the bronze door untouched, I sit inside an abandoned survey office beneath Blackwall with Salvik on one side of the table and Brannock on the other. Neither man looks happy. Excellent. Happy conspirators become careless in unpredictable ways. Unhappy ones become careful in predictable ones. A charcoal map of the western tunnels lies between us. I draw a circle around an unused records chamber 2 levels above the real Archive 9. This becomes the archive. Brannock stares at me. It's an empty room. Currently, Salvik understands first. We populate it. Correct. With what? I look at the black metal shard resting inside his sealed glass case. Enough authentic material to survive inspection. Brannock folds his arms. And then? Then we leak that we opened Archive 9. To whom? Everyone. He looks genuinely offended. We're trying to find a spy. Exactly. Salvik's eyes narrow. A controlled leak with different details. Finally. Someone useful. I point toward him. The registry hears one version, then Brannock. Hausveld officers hear another. I tap the table. Blackwall Engineering hears a third. Brannock frowns. Why? Because whoever reacts tells us where their information comes from. Salvik leans back. And the contents? Real enough to tempt them. That becomes the difficult part. Not because we lack secrets. Blackwall has far too many. The difficulty is choosing secrets valuable enough to steal without exposing anything I actually need. Salvik reluctantly contributes old registry documents. Mostly obsolete. Necromantic conductivity trials. Soul steel resonance failures. Fragments of sealed summoning doctrine. He tries to hide how much the phrase red chain doctrine bothers him. I let him. For now, Brannock contributes Hausveld command seal ledgers. Copies. Altered ones. He insists the originals do not exist. That guarantees they do. I contribute nothing personal. Obviously. Instead, I write a false tactical memorandum describing a theoretical hierarchical phantom relay with one fatal flaw deliberately emphasized. Centralized collapse. According to the document, destroying the primary phantom commander should instantly annihilate every subordinate beneath it. Not true. At least, not entirely. A catastrophic command loss creates enormous instability, but trained officers can survive temporarily if doctrine and soul steel anchoring are strong enough. I know because I tested it last night with a disposable command branch. The enemy does not. Hausveld does not. Salvik does not. Now all three may eventually believe Edric is the single point of failure. That is the bait I want most. Brannock reads the memorandum. His eyebrows rise. So if Edric dies, every phantom dies. I keep my expression neutral, theoretically. His gaze lingers on the page. Too long, good. He is already storing the information for himself. The trap begins before the enemy even sees it. We work until dawn. The false archive receives 19 authentic documents, 7 altered ledgers, 2 obsolete registry seals, 1 genuine piece of red chain metal, and my fabricated command collapse analysis. Then I add the most important detail, a map, not to my real cistern, to a dead section of the fortress beneath the northern ammunition vault. The map marks it as an experimental phantom command center. Brannock studies it. There is nothing there. Exactly. Salvik looks at me. What is there structurally? 3 entrances. That seems poor for a trap. 4. He pauses. You said 3. The 4th is ours. I point to a collapsed sewage conduit beneath the eastern wall. My hidden phantoms reopened it yesterday. Neither man knows that. I describe it as a possible excavation route. Technically true. Brannock begins smiling. He sees the simple version. Enemy enters false command center. Hausveld soldiers seal the visible exits. Attackers die. Easy. Salvik sees the more complicated version. If they know the old tunnel network better than we do, they may detect the ambush. Then they retreat, and we learn their route. He nods. Good. Neither understands the full purpose. I do not need to catch the infiltrator. I need them to interact with the false command center, touch it, inspect it, believe it, carry its assumptions back to whoever commands the red chain forces. This trap is not a cage. It is an education. I am teaching the enemy how to misunderstand me. By midday, the leak begins. Salvik returns to the registry quarter carrying a sealed report stating that Archive 9 contained records of a lost phantom relay, prototype. Brannock tells 3 Hausfeld captains that we recovered a method for producing independent armored undead. I give an engineering sergeant orders to reinforce the northern ammunition vault because of unstable spiritual equipment being stored below it. 3 versions, 3 information channels, 1 target. Then I wait. Waiting is part of command. Nobody writes songs about it because waiting looks boring from outside. Inside, it is arithmetic. I spend the time expanding the buried force. Hausfeld supplies continue arriving. Their visible spectral company reaches 82 phantoms. Brannock becomes increasingly proud of them. He now refers to the formation as the Veld Phantom Guard. I do not correct him. Every time he orders them to march, turn, or hold formation under delegated authority, he becomes more convinced that ownership is approaching. Every training session strengthens their actual doctrine under me. Talk about efficient exploitation. Below them, the real army grows faster. 1,106 active phantoms. 143 soul steel armored elites, 46 officer-grade nodes, 4 command cohorts. Edric remains at the top. His stability recovers past 80% after several controlled residue infusions. His form changes again, not dramatically. That matters. The best evolution begins before anyone notices it. A thin secondary ridge appears behind his helmet crest. His spectral cape, something I never designed, begins forming in torn strips of gray light behind his shoulders. More interestingly, every time he issues an order, subordinate officers respond before his physical gesture completes. Command latency is decreasing. I test it. Edric. Shield cohort, rotate. His spear does not move. Yet below us, 37 phantoms begin repositioning. I look at him. You didn't signal. His helmet turns. The soul link pulses. A command impulse. Direct officer transmission, no visible movement, new behavior. Not yet a new skill, a precursor. I mark it. Chekhov would approve, not that anyone here knows who that is. I test again. Scout cohort, report. Edric remains still. 3 officers relay simultaneously through the soul network. Safe, movement. Western sector, I stand. Finally, the leak has produced a reaction. Location. Edric turns toward the western wall. 1 pulse, then 2. False archive level. Excellent. I dismiss every visible underground unit except him. Not because secrecy requires 0 forces, because I want the enemy to believe the chamber is lightly defended. We move through the hidden conduit. Edric follows. No footsteps, no light. His new spectral cape drifts without wind. I dislike how theatrical it looks. I like what it implies. Soul stability is no longer shaping only equipment. It is shaping rank symbolism. Maybe his identity is merging with doctrine. Maybe doctrine is generating identity. Unknown. Later, we reach an observation slit above the false archive. Below, the room is dark. 3 figures move inside. Human. Black wall uniforms. Engineering division. 1 carries a lantern covered with blue cloth. 1 holds a registry key. The 3rd wears a Hausfeld officer's cloak. Perfect. 3 channels represented. 2 perfect. Which means none of those uniforms matter. The infiltrators search quickly, professionally. They ignore valuables, ignore exposed soul steel, ignore sealed currency. They go directly to the document shelves. They knew what they came for. The 1st opens Salvek's registry packet. 2nd checks the altered Veld ledgers. 3rd finds my phantom relay memorandum. He stops, reads, then reads again. There, that is the document. The others continue searching. The officer-cloaked infiltrator removes the memorandum and places it beneath his coat. No copy. They want the original. Better. He also takes the map to the false command center. Even better. Edric shifts beside me, his spear angles downward. I give no attack order. He remains still. Then the infiltrator beneath us looks up, directly at the observation slit. I freeze. He cannot see us. The slit is black stone. No light. No movement. Yet he smiles. General. So much for surprise. The other 2 stop searching. The officer-cloaked man looks directly toward me. You build competent traps. His voice is his own, not distributed corpse speech. Alive, apparently. I say nothing. He continues. Much better than Odrin's. Interesting. He knows I am listening. Maybe soul detection. Maybe Edric. Maybe something else. The infiltrator raises the stolen memorandum. Centralized command collapse. His smile widens. You expect us to believe this? Good question. I step out. No point pretending. The hidden door opens. I descend into the false archive with Edric beside me. The three infiltrators do not attack. That itself is useful. I stop 10 paces away. Not immediately. The officer looks amused. So it is false. I didn't say that. Then why admit uncertainty? Because certainty is suspicious. His smile fades slightly. Good. He glances at Edric. The Phantom's new cape drifts. That one is changing. I say nothing. He notices anyway. Retained personality? Still nothing. Interesting. Edric's hook spear lowers by 1 inch. The infiltrator laughs softly. He dislikes me. That reaction comes through the link too. Cold hostility. Independent. Stronger than before. Another sign. I file it away, even while facing the enemy. The infiltrator folds the memorandum. You expected someone to steal this. Yes. And you let us. Yes. Then why are you here? To see what you ignored. He pauses. I point toward the shelves. You took command theory. Then the map. You took infrastructure. I glance at the soul steel ingots untouched on the table. You ignored material wealth. Then Salvek's sealed Archive 9 fragment. You ignored historical records. I look back at him. So your objective is specifically my army. The other two infiltrators shift. Tiny. Confirmation. The officer smiles again. Perhaps. No. I shake my head. Definitely. Then he says something much more useful. 10,000 bodies are difficult to hide, General. My expression remains still. Inside, everything stops. 10,000. Not my current count. A future projection? A threat? A known requirement? He continues before I answer. Even with recursive command branching, you will eventually need enough anchors for 10,000 phantoms. There it is. They understand hierarchy, at least conceptually. The false archive did not teach them that. They knew beforehand. Important. Where did you learn recursive branching? I ask. He lifts one shoulder. Where did you? I almost smile. Fair. Then Edric moves, not attacking. He steps half a pace in front of me, again without command. The infiltrator's eyes sharpen. You see? He points at Edric. That is why your hierarchy will fail. I let him talk. Always let arrogant enemies explain their thesis. He remembers too much. Interesting. He obeys now because your command imprint dominates his remaining identity. The man taps his temple. But stability restores pattern. Pattern restores memory. Memory restores will. Edric's soul link tightens. I feel anger. Real anger. Not mine. His. The infiltrator sees something in his posture. You think he's your finest officer? He laughs. He will become your first rebellion. There. The attack is not physical. It is conceptual. He wants distrust between commander and companion. Competent. I look at Edric. He looks back. I remember him choosing the dead scout independently, protecting wounded conscripts, acknowledging Tomas, selecting officer candidates, issuing commands without gestures. All evidence supports increasing autonomy. That does not mean betrayal. It means autonomy. Different problem. I look back at the infiltrator. If you're trying to make me destroy my best officer for you, the delivery needs work. His smile thins. Good. He expected more uncertainty. Then Brannick's voice echoes from the corridor. Seal the chamber. Hausfeld troops. Right on schedule. The visible trap closes. The infiltrators do not panic. That bothers me. The northern door slams shut. Then the southern. Steel shutters drop across the main archive entrance. Brannick appears behind a firing slit above the room. 20 crossbows aim down. He looks absolutely delighted. There. He points at the infiltrators. Nowhere to run. The officer-cloaked man looks up, then starts laughing. Brannick's smile disappears. I sigh internally. Never celebrate before checking the floor. The infiltrator stomps once. Red chain symbols ignite beneath all three men. Teleportation? No. Their bodies begin collapsing inward. Corpse shells. Again. Not the real operators. Brannock shouts. Fire! Bolts rain down. Too late. The three bodies rupture Iger. Into black ash. No explosion, no corruption. Just empty vessels. The stolen documents fall. Except my memorandum. Gone. The map, too. Perfect. They took exactly what I wanted. Brannock slams his fist against the firing slit. Damn it. I look at the ash. No soul residue. No harvest. Again. This enemy continues denying me fuel. Consistent doctrine. Then something metallic lands near my boot. A small red chain token. Deliberately left. One side bears the I symbol. The other contains 3 words in Old Imperial script. Not Corvin's language. Mine. My previous world's military script. I pick it up. The words read, Ninth formation awaits. My fingers tighten. Edric feels the reaction. His helmet turns. Brannock enters the chamber with soldiers. What is that? I close my fist. Nothing useful. He does not believe me. Good. He should learn the feeling. Salvek arrives minutes later. He sees the missing memorandum. His face hardens. They took the command collapse analysis. Yes. Brannock looks at me. That was the important document? One of them. He smiles again. Not as brightly. But enough. They took the bait. Yes, exactly. Then he says the part I expected. Now they think killing Edric destroys the army. I look at him. There is satisfaction in his voice. Too much. He likes that idea independently of the enemy. Good to know. The trap is working on more than one target. Salvik collects the ash samples. Brannock orders additional guards around the false command center. And above us, House Veld begins moving even more soul steel into the northern vault because they believe the infiltrators now know where the project is located. Investment deepens. Suspicion grows. Perfect. Over the next 2 days, the enemy does nothing. That makes Brannock arrogant. On the 3rd day, he begins telling officers the infiltration failed. On the 4th, he claims House Veld has broken the Red Chain spy network. By the 5th, he walks into the Phantom training hall wearing a new silver command mantle, a ridiculous piece of clothing. Apparently, Odrin formally names him director of the Spectral Company project. Brannock stands before 96 visible armored phantoms. He raises one hand. They turn under delegated authority. His grin becomes unbearable. Look at them. I do. Hausfeld officers line the gallery. Salvek is absent again. Brannock walks between the ranks. 100 before the week ends. He turns toward me. Then 500. I say nothing. Then 1,000. His soldiers cheer. Brannock lifts his arms. Blackwall will have the first Phantom army in the Western Bastion. Wrong. Blackwall already has one. It simply does not know. Beneath this hall, my hidden strength passes 1,862. 270 armored elites. 71 officer nodes. 6 autonomous cohorts. And Edric's command latency continues falling. The soul link around him has changed again. Thin spectral lines now extend from his back whenever multiple officers receive orders simultaneously. They resemble the beginnings of phantom banners, not wings, not chains. Standards. 8 faint command standards forming behind his shoulders. They appear for only seconds. Then vanish. Evolution pending. I feel it. The system does too. A brief alert flashes across my vision. Primary Phantom Commander approaching unidentified command form transition. Requirements incomplete. There. Explicit confirmation. I keep my face neutral. Brannock continues his speech. Hausfeld built this. The Phantoms stand motionless. You belong to Blackwall. No reaction. To my uncle. Still nothing. Then he smiles at me. And soon you won't need hail at all. The gallery laughs. Edric's helmet turns toward him. Slowly. The 8 faint command standards flicker behind his back. Just for a heartbeat. No one else seems to notice. I do. So does Brannock. His laughter stops. What was that? I look at Edric. Then at him. Probably nothing. Brannock stares another second, then dismisses it. His arrogance wins. Good. Let it. Because the enemy now believes Edric is my fatal weakness. Brannock believes delegated authority is slowly making Edric his. Hausfeld believes the hidden infiltrators have been driven out. And somewhere beyond Blackwall, someone carrying memories from my previous life is waiting for a so-called 9th formation. Everyone is extraordinarily pleased with what they think they know. That is usually the moment before a battlefield becomes interesting. The first crack appears where I expected it, just not in the person I expected. Brannock stands inside the Eastern Training Hall, while 96 visible armored phantoms execute formation drills beneath his temporary authority. He has stopped calling them Hale's summons. Now they are my spectral company. His words, not mine. Edric stands at the front rank. Still. Silent. The faint command standards behind his shoulders have not appeared since yesterday. Brannock assumes that means whatever he saw was harmless. That assumption makes him unusually cheerful. Column formation. The phantoms move. Clean. Almost perfect. Brannock smiles. Advance. They advance. He turns toward Marshal Odrin in the gallery. You see? Odrin sees exactly what he wants. A weapon becoming transferable. A family asset no longer dependent on one inconvenient F Rank conscript. I stand beside the wall and look exhausted. That part is not entirely performance. The visible company consumes very little direct control now, but maintaining the hidden hierarchy beneath Blackwall while feeding false data into Hausfeld's project is beginning to strain Corvin's body. My class can scale faster than my flesh. Another bottleneck. Manageable. Brannock raises his hand. Combat Pattern 7. The phantoms do nothing. Silence. His smile disappears. Pattern 7. Still nothing. He looks at me. I shrug, not within delegated doctrine. His jaw tightens. We practiced it yesterday. No. You practiced movement sequence 7. Same thing. No. He walks toward me. What is the difference? Movement is geometry. I look toward the phantoms. Combat requires target interpretation. So give me target authority. No. His face changes, not anger immediately. Suspicion first. Better. Why? Because you asked for a stable company. And, if one bad order redirects hostile classification, the unit could treat allies as valid targets. Technically possible. Highly unlikely under my current restrictions. He does not know that. Odrin leans over the gallery railing. Can it be solved? I answer carefully. Probably. There. The word they hate. Not yes. Not no. Investment uncertainty. Brannock looks up at his uncle. We've already built 96. Odrin says nothing. Brannock continues. We're 4 soldiers away from a full company. Still nothing. I watch him. This is the moment from the trap. The first hesitation. Not enough to stop. Enough to notice something does not fit. Brannock turns back toward Edric. His eyes narrow. Why does everything still run through him? There it is. Good. He finally sees the architecture. Not fully, but enough. I keep my voice casual. Because he's the stable relay. You said the subordinate officers were independent. I said they carried doctrine independently. His expression darkens. That's not the same thing. No. He stares at me. For several seconds, Brannock is genuinely suspicious. Not paranoid. Correctly suspicious. That makes him more dangerous. He steps closer. How much of this company disappears if Edric dies? The false memorandum. He remembers. Good. I let hesitation show. Deliberately. Potentially all of it. He hears confirmation. I give him uncertainty. Exactly as planned. His eyes sharpen. Potentially? Battlefield systems are not laboratory glassware. He looks toward the 96 phantoms. Then back to me. Something in him wants to stop, to reassess, to ask Salvek, to bring registry specialists back into the project. That would be rational. Then Odrin finally speaks. How much has Hausfeld spent? Brannock looks up. The question changes him immediately. Of course. Money. Soul steel. Residue. Bodies. Secrecy. Reputation. Too much investment to admit uncertainty now. Brannock straightens. Enough to finish. There it is. Greed suppresses doubt, exactly as required. Odrin nods once. Then finish. Brannock turns toward me. Suspicion remains in his eyes, but now it has a leash. 4 more. I lower my head. 4 more. The training resumes. The crack does not disappear. It simply gets painted over. Perfect. That afternoon, the visible spectral company reaches 100. Brannock stages a private ceremony. Of course he does. House Veld officers gather in the eastern yard. The gates are sealed. No registry observers. No ordinary troops. 100 armored phantoms stand in 10 ranks. Edric at the front. Bronick wears his silver command mantle. Again, I am starting to hate that thing more than I hate him. Marshal Odrin raises a cup. Today, House Veld creates what the Western Bastion has never possessed. Wrong. The first independent phantom company. Also wrong. An army that does not sleep, fear, or disobey. Edric's helmet turns half an inch. I notice. No one else does. Odrin continues. And soon, this force will no longer depend on a single summoner. Brannock smiles. There it is. The intended end state. Replace me. Keep the army. The gallery applauds. I look beneath the stone. Far below, the hidden hierarchy answers my command sense. 2,417 active phantoms, 360 armored elites, 92 officer nodes, 9 operational cohorts, 1 recovery corps, 2 reconnaissance networks, multiple corpse depots, 4 soul steel distribution vaults. The public company is not the army. It is a diagram of the army, a toy version, and House Veld has spent everything needed to build it. Brannock steps in front of Edric. Temporary authority. I grant the usual boundary. Movement. Formation. Known lethal positioning. He raises his hand. Kneel. 100 phantoms kneel. House Veld officers cheer. Brannock looks directly at me. Not the phantoms. Me. That tells me the ceremony is not about military capability. It is about humiliation. He wants proof that my power can be ordered through him. Fine. Let him enjoy it. Stand. They stand. Face House Veld. They turn. Edric turns too. Brannock's smile broadens. Then he makes a mistake. Salute your master. Silence. Not one phantom moves. The yard becomes quiet. Brannock's expression freezes. He repeats it. Salute your master. Nothing. I almost sigh. Too abstract. Too identity-based. Outside the delegated doctrine. But Brannock does not know that. He looks at me. What did you do? Nothing. Order them. To do what? Salute me. I stare at him. No, the officers around us shift. Odrin's face hardens. Brannock walks forward. You forget your position. No. I keep my voice calm. I remember it perfectly. His hand moves toward his sword. Edric's faint command standards appear. 1, then 3, then all 8. Gray spectral banners rise behind his shoulders like torn standards caught in invisible wind. Every phantom officer in the formation raises its head simultaneously. Not the troops, the officers. Brannock stops. Nobody speaks. The standards fade after 2 seconds. Gone. Odrin looks at me. What was that? I do not answer immediately, because I genuinely do not know. The system does. A brief alert flashes across my sight. Primary command unit evolution conditions partially synchronized. Autonomous officer relay increasing. Final transition pending command crisis. Command crisis. Interesting. So whatever Edric is becoming requires pressure. Not raw soul residue alone. Good. Dangerous. Brannock interprets my silence as fear. He points at Edric. That thing is unstable. Edric turns toward him, very slowly. Brannock takes half a step back, then notices himself doing it. His face reddens. Pride repairs stupidity faster than medicine repairs wounds. He draws his sword. Dismiss him. Now the yard really becomes quiet. I look at Brannock. Why? Because I ordered it. That is not a reason. Odrin speaks. Hail. I turn. Dismiss the phantom. This matters. Not emotionally, strategically. If I refuse openly, the project ends now. If I obey, Edric loses some stability. But my cover survives. Easy. I dismiss him. Edric dissolves. The command standards vanish. Brannock exhales. Too relieved. I notice. So does Odrin. Interesting. Raise him, Odrin orders. I do. Edric reforms. Stability drops slightly. Still above 70. No standards. Brannock smiles again. He thinks dismissal reset the problem. It did not. The system still marks evolution pending. Good, the ceremony resumes. Badly. Nobody cheers as loudly. That matters more than Brannick realizes. Rumor feeds on discomfort. By evening, soldiers outside the classified project already whisper that Hausveld's phantom commander refused Brannick. The story changes with every retelling. Some say Edric threatened him. Some say the entire company turned weapons on Hausveld. Some say I nearly lost control. All wrong, all useful. The buried Legion rumor merges with the spectral company rumor. Now, people believe there may be multiple phantom forces beneath Blackwall. Technically true, just not in the way they think. Then the enemy makes its next move. Not an attack, a message. One of my hidden scouts finds a red chain token inside the Western Aqueduct. No corpse, no infiltrator, no trap. Just a token placed exactly at the edge of our patrol zone. The side facing upward bears the red eye. The reverse contains old Imperial script. Fourth day. No explanation. No location. No demand. I study it inside the cistern. Edric stands beside me. The 9 hidden cohort commanders wait in silence. Fourth day. Could mean attack in 4 days. Could mean deadline. Could mean the 4th day of some historical campaign. Could mean formation designation. Unknown. I hate vague enemy signaling, usually because it is intended to make the receiver invent threats for them. So I do not. I assign observation. Nothing else. Day 1. No attack. Day 2. Nothing. Day 3. Hausveld moves 2 more soul steel wagons underground. Brannick expands the visible project to 130 phantoms. He no longer asks whether the command structure is safe. His earlier doubt is gone beneath sunk cost, exactly as planned. Day 4 begins at dawn. Nothing. No horn. No red chain forces. No assassination. No archive breach. By noon, Brannick declares the token meaningless. By afternoon, he laughs when I mention increased patrols. Your mysterious enemy is bluffing. I look at him. Maybe. He grins. You're scared. Of competent enemies? I nod. Usually. That confuses him. Good. By sunset, the 4th day appears to pass without incident. Then one of my underground command links disappears. Not weakens. Not takes damage. Disappears. I stop walking. Brannick is talking beside me about tomorrow's training schedule. His voice becomes irrelevant. The missing link belongs to Western Reconnaissance Officer 3, 27 subordinates beneath it. Gone, no command shock. That is wrong. If destroyed, I should feel feedback. If dismissed, I should feel dissolution. If outside range, the maintenance link remains. This is absence, severance. I look toward the western floor. Edric reacts instantly. His head turns. The hidden command standards flicker behind him. Brannock notices. What? I ignore him. Second link disappears. Another reconnaissance node. 9 subordinates. No feedback. Third, scout captain. 38 stable. Gone. Now I move. Underground. Brannick grabs my shoulder. What happened? I turn. Something changed. His eyes narrow. With the buried Legion? Interesting. He says the rumor name. Not my army. Good. I let him believe it. Possibly. He starts issuing orders. Hausveld troops gather. I do not stop him. More witnesses may actually help. We descend through the eastern service tunnels. Edric beside me. Brannick behind. 12 Veld soldiers. No Salvek. No Odrin. The farther west we move, the quieter my command network becomes. Not because links vanish. Because every officer is holding position. Standing doctrine. No movement without confirmation. Good. They learned. At the western junction, we find the first missing unit. Not destroyed. Frozen. 27 phantoms stand in formation. Motionless. Weapons lowered. Their officer stands at the center. I can see them, but cannot feel them. Severed. Brannick whispers. They're yours? I look at him. Careful. He realizes what he just saw. Too many. Far beyond the visible company. The truth is beginning to leak. Not enough time to preserve the cover cleanly. I step toward the severed officer. Edric blocks me. No order. His spear lowers across my path. I stop. Good instinct. The officer's helmet slowly turns toward us. No command link. No soul signal. Then it raises one hand. Every severed phantom raises its weapon. Brannock's soldiers draw swords. I lift my hand. Do not attack. Brannick glares. Those things are waiting. For what? I do not know. Then the severed officer speaks. First time any subordinate phantom besides Edric produces a voice. Not its own. A man's voice. Calm. Familiar. The infiltrator from the false archive. Fourth day. There it is. The severed phantoms turn toward me. Now we test the memorandum. Of course. Central Command collapse. They stole the false weakness. Now they want to verify it. Good. That means the bait was believed enough to act on, but they improved the test. They are not killing Edric first. They are severing lower branches and observing my response. Clever. The officer continues. 3 nodes removed. I count. Correct. Your army still stands. A pause. So the document was false. Not entirely. But enough. Doubt. There. The trap reaches the stage I wanted. The enemy invested in the assumption. Now the inconsistency appears. They begin questioning. I keep my expression blank. The voice continues. Which means the real collapse condition is elsewhere. Wrong. Mostly. Good. Let them keep guessing. The severed officer raises its weapon toward Edric. Perhaps identity. Interesting. They are returning to their earlier theory. Destroy Edric's loyalty. Not his body. Brannock looks between us. He understands almost none of this. But one phrase lands. Your army? I ignore him. He steps closer. How many phantoms do you actually have? Not now. The severed officer laughs through 27 mouths. Ask him. Brannock's face changes. There. The enemy wants internal fracture again, and now they have better material. I look at Brannock. His hand rests on his sword. Suspicion, fear, greed, all 3. Then the officer says the worst possible number. 2,806. Brannock goes still. That was yesterday's total. Again, delayed intelligence. But close enough. He looks at me like I have become something else entirely. You said I lied. No point preserving this layer. Not here. His sword comes free. Edric steps forward. Command standards flare. 8. Then 12. Wait. 12. There are more now. The system flashes command form transition accelerating under hierarchy conflict. Not yet. Soon. Brannock points his blade at me. You built an army under Blackwall. Yes, with our soul steel. Some, our corpses. Mostly enemy. Our residue. Much of it. His face becomes almost purple. I understand the anger. Then greed enters again. He looks at the severed phantoms. Then Edric. Then the tunnels. 2,800 phantoms. Not a failure. An asset. A massive one. His sword lowers slightly. There it is. The same flaw. He should arrest me. Call Odrin. Seal the tunnels. Bring the registry. Instead, can I command them? I stare at him. Even now. Even after discovering the deception, ownership wins. Beautiful. I do not answer. The enemy officer laughs. Brannock hears it. His expression hardens. But the question remains. That is enough. He has seen the lie. He suspects the trap. He knows something does not fit. And he still chooses greed. Perfect. The severed officer lifts one hand. The 27 phantoms attack. Not us. Edric. All at once. Stage 1. Forced. Edric receives the first wave. 12 spectral weapons hit him. His armor fractures. The command standards behind him flare violently. He does not retreat. I feel his anger through the soul link. Not at the enemy. At the phantoms being used against us. Important. I watch the severance pattern. No visible corruption. No red chain metal embedded in the bodies. The control is not replacing soul structure. It is blocking command resonance. How? Then I see it. Thin black marks around each phantom's throat. Like collars. Command seals. Hausfeld command seals. The enemy told Brannock to ask his uncle why he bought them. There is the connection. Someone has access to Veld control technology. Maybe Odrin bought compromised seals. Maybe knowingly. Maybe not. Later. Edric. Collars. He understands. Stage 2 complete. He stops attacking bodies. Hooks the first black collar. Rips. The phantom collapses. Command link returns. Weak. But mine. Good. Do not destroy them. Brannick stares. They're trying to kill you. They're mine. That sentence changes something inside Edric. The soul link pulses. Hard. The command standards multiply. 12 becomes 16. Gray banners spread behind him in a vast spectral fan. Every hidden officer beneath Blackwall reacts simultaneously, not summoned, not visible, but awake. The system screams across my vision, command form evolution threshold reached, Phantom Marshal transition pending final doctrine declaration. Final doctrine declaration. Of course. Not emotion. Not soul mass. A command principle. Edric needs to become something defined by how he leads. The severed phantoms attack again. Brannick raises his sword. Kill them. No. He looks at me. I speak through the soul link. Not to Brannick. To Edric. An officer does not discard soldiers because the enemy interrupted communication. Edric goes still. Every standard behind him stops moving. I continue. We restore the line. The system pauses, then flashes one final phrase. Doctrine accepted. Edric raises his spear. No roar, no dramatic explosion. Just one command pulse. Massive, cold, absolute. It passes through the tunnel like pressure through deep water. Every severed phantom freezes. The black collars around their throats crack. 1, 5, 12, all 27. The enemy voice shouts through them. No, the collars explode. Command links return all at once. The phantoms drop to one knee. Not before me. Before Edric. His armor transforms. Spectral plate flows outward. Not heavier. Higher rank. Layered command mantle. Long armored coat beneath the breastplate. A full helm with a narrow crown-like ridge. 16 gray standards rise behind him, each carrying the faint outline of a different formation sigil. Shield. Spear. Scout. Recovery. Heavy assault. Reserve. More. Every officer beneath Blackwall answers. The system confirms it at last. Primary command unit evolved. Phantom Marshal established. Autonomous command relay unlocked. Subordinate officer restoration enabled. Command interference resistance massively increased. There. Evolution complete. Not because he killed the enemy. Because he refused to abandon his own troops. Interesting. I look at Edric. He turns toward me. Then places one fist against his chest. Same gesture as the first day. Different meaning now. Brannick backs away. He whispers, "What did you make?" I look at the 16 phantom standards. Then at the restored unit kneeling before Edric. I didn't. That answer frightens him more. Good. The red chain influence withdraws from the tunnel. No final attack. No explosion. No corpse construct. Just silence. They got their answer. The memorandum was false. The army does not collapse easily. Edric is evolving beyond their predicted failure model. They will doubt the bait now. Exactly where I want them. But the interaction has revealed more than I planned. Brannick knows the hidden army exists. He knows the scale is already in the thousands. He knows Hausfeld resources built part of it, and he still wants control. That makes the next step obvious. He will not expose me immediately. Exposure transfers jurisdiction to Salvek, possibly confiscates the army. Brannick would rather steal it himself. Greed again. He wipes sweat from his face. 2,800. I correct him. More now. He stares. I do not give the number. He swallows, then says exactly what I expected. My uncle doesn't need to know yet. There it is. The machine is ready. Every gear, every lie, every resource shipment, every compromised command seal, every hidden vault, every false document, every greedy decision, the enemy has started doubting. Brannick has chosen investment over retreat, and now Edric can restore severed officers without me micromanaging every branch. I look down the dark western tunnel. A tiny sound echoes from somewhere far away, metal striking stone. Once. Nothing important to Brannick, nothing important to the Veld soldiers. But I know the signal. A recovery unit has just opened the final buried access route beneath the northern ammunition vault. The false command center. The one Hausfeld reinforced. The one the red chain infiltrators mapped. The one both sides now believe matters. Everything is connected. Every entrance is open. Every participant is committed. The entire mechanism is ready. I smile, only slightly. Now I stop feeding the trap. Now I close it,